heart been so cold that I don't feel it all. Scarred up inside, so I built all these walls. My head rolling back, but I'm faking the rush. Out every night and I'm lonely as fuck. I make my own rules and my own plans. I got no room for no man. That's my way. That's my way. Then I saw you in a dream, right? I wanna call you. I kind of feel that I can't name. I can't name. It's strange, but I don't need space from you. And every single thing you do, I like. I've been chased. Maybe I just knew I had to wait for you. Draw a knife and carve a little space for you. It feels nice. It's strange, but I don't need space from you. And every single thing you do, I like. Open me up, I let down my defense. I swore that I wouldn't go falling again. I could be faded with somebody new. I'd rather be sober at home, just us two. I make my own rules and my own plans. I got no room for no man. That's my way. That's my way. Then I saw you in a dream, right? I wanna call you. I kind of feel that I can't name. I can't name. It's strange, but I don't need space from you. And every single thing you do, I like. I've been chased. Maybe I just knew I had to wait for you. Draw a knife and carve a little space for you. It feels nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the LBLCS. Tonight we've got two CEO games. Both are series. We're only going to be able to catch the first game of GE versus DD. And then we're going to switch on over to the Naughty Boys versus Glacial Vendetta. They are going to be the other semifinal match. The two winners of that are going to play on Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, next Sunday. So big night for all four teams. Big night for all four teams. I am Buggleberry Finn, and I am joined by a man who recently had a birthday. Oh, no name.
This is true. I did recently have a birthday.
Yeah, how does it feel to be that much closer to dying? Can you tell everyone?
Ooh, it feels so good.
I know. I'm a little bit
Just
jealous that you're
sucking
getting
the
close.
despair right up.
Guys, we are gonna have a pretty interesting draft. I mean, CEO. We just watched Economy yesterday. Economy's a totally different child than CEO. CEO is going to be pretty nuts. I'm expecting pretty meta picks, and unfortunately, unlike Worlds, we're not all on the same patch always. So this is the most recent patch that we are playing on, and it is going to be the current meta that you are witnessing, not the Worlds meta.
Yeah, this is gonna be weird because I think this is the first CEO game I've cast all season. I've been on a straight economy run, and I have to prepare myself to watch good plays for once.
Yeah,
So
going off of that point, MZ Shady kind of wrapped it up pretty well with CEO League is a war of attrition. Last team to disband wins. That is kind of what it feels like. We've had a lot of almost games. A lot of almost games as we head up the lobby right now. I don't know if they need Pro Draft. We'll find out.
I actually so I don't know too much about either of these teams. So I'm excited to see what pick bands look like. I imagine it'll be more straightforward than trying to follow the picks in an economy game. But you never know. People have their pocket picks.
All right, we've got Swift. We got a big mixture. There's actually a decent amount of season. God, I want to say season two. I think it was season two. Season two champs, Shadow Pups, with Vizzy, Swift Ranger, Titan. Now they're not all on the same team here. We will see them. You've played with N7 Shepard before, so you will be able to talk about him
Yeah,
as we get into the game and start playing. Uh, Looks like they don't need Pro Draft, and they're all right with that. So we will just be able to rock on into game based off the normal draft. That's good. Get these going a little bit quicker. Um, We've got Swift Ranger almost a dozen, made it to the finals last year on Titan Gaming. Titan is also, he's on the wrong side right now, I believe, but he is part of the Glue Eaters and he will be participating. Um, he's also a Shadow Pups member in Season 2, one of the champs. So this is going to be a good game. I think no one would be surprised if either of these teams advanced. Um, I think that there's definitely play styles each team likes more than the other. I'm going to be really interested in how draft works out because of it, and I'm going to refrain from speaking about it until draft really begins. And guys, if you're playing at home, myself and No Name have already started, so I'll say it once: it does take two to tango.
so as we wait for the draft to get started up, I want to hear your predictions. Uh,
Sure.
Now there are two predictions. First of all, what do you think the score is going to look like? And second of all, who's going to bring the better skin game?
Ooh, okay, that's different because that also depends on what champions you're playing. I think, in my opinion, but we'll say you're gonna see a lot of skins for sure. I'm gonna say that Glue Eater's gonna bring it home with the better skins. The series is gonna be a three-game series. I'm almost positive. I don't think one team will just buckle and lose after their first loss. Um, I will also say that I would expect Dalb's deputies to take game one, considering that they wanted blue side, they picked blue side, and that's where they're playing from. Um, However, things could change. Happy Cloud has been known as one of the better mid laners, despite his lower rank here. In this league, he's one of the really good. I think Arthur Dent might be the best player in the league, along with almost a dozen. So you have superstar players on each side. It depends how you're going to allocate that gold, how you're going to play around certain lanes. So I do expect a three-game series. Unfortunately, we won't follow them all the way through. We're going to skip over to Naughty Boys after this one, but I'm expecting very competitive games, even if it's a two. If it's a 2-0 series, all the games are going to be close.
Yeah. I do think I have to agree with that. Uh, I only know, I mean, I know everyone in this lobby. I've never seen a match between the two of them, but no one here is a weak player. So I don't expect anyone to be going down without a fight. Yeah.
Yep, there's I don't think I've seen Glue Eaters play with N7 on the team yet, or with Rescued, honestly. And you've played with? Did you play with Rescued or no? That was he. Was he?
No, I've played without Devin though.
Spin Doctors. Yeah, Spin Doctors. I think he was last time. Hey, see, look at guys. Someone wanted to cast him. You see this on screen? Look at that. He's getting embarrassed now. We are gonna be starting up soon. Hopefully, we're waiting for one more person. I believe that's right. Is it Dalp himself? Is it the deputy boy?
It might just be. I don't actually know, but I'd like to think it is.
Either that or he's like, just like the reigning owner. Chat, what do you guys think? Because, I don't know. I don't know. Who's going to win, chat? Oh, it's like half of you are in the game. That doesn't count. You can't vote for yourselves.
Well, if they can't vote for themselves, then there's only one machine they can vote for.
You can't vote. You just can't vote if you're playing. No, I'll throw it up as a poll for you in 1 minute, guys. Um, we have another really competitive series right after this, so if you are waiting to watch the Glacial game, please just continue to wait. That is coming up at 10:30, I believe, Eastern Standard Time. And if it's not, then I'm just a big liar. So, what about
You
Titan?
are known
Titan's
to be
really
a big
cute.
liar.
Titan is very cute. Probably one of the most cute I've ever met in my entire life. Um, that's what I think about him. Got any other questions, chat? Because I'm ready.
Prove it. Prove that Titan's the cutest player.
Yeah, prove it.
I don't know. You're the one who said it.
No, I don't have to. Well, hang on. Titan, if you could just comment in community that you are the cutest, that would help me. Can you do that?
Oh my god. Okay, so I've just learned something about the poll function in Twitch, which is that I can ring it as hard as I want.
Are you just voting over and over again, or what?
Apparently, you could use channel points to vote again, and it only costs 200. And having watched a lot of this channel, I could just spam vote for Glue Eaters.
Wow, you're really diving in. A little bit of an N7 bias, I feel like, coming in
Hold
there.
on. We gotta. I'll even it out. I'll even it out.
It's gonna take a day. Um, People are saying, nah, Titan is shit. He cute, but he's shit. Yeah, you could be shit and still cute. I mean, you know, look at Happy Cloud. Very cute guy.
I think Glue Eaters are caught onto the scheme even more because boy howdy, it's taken off.
Yeah, there's a lot
I
of voice
spent
for
my
it.
votes about evenly, but I don't think it
On
matters.
paper, it doesn't seem like it's one-sided, but in the poll, it really does.
Yeah, yeah.
Another
Well, hey, I
thread.
mean, if this poll has anything to Glue Eaters' credit, it means they're paying attention.
Yeah, they are paying attention. I guess. I guess you could throw him that bone. You could throw him
Yeah.
that bone. I wouldn't mind. Someone says Dalps 2-0. That's very confident. That's a very confident. Just
Someone's botting Dolphs now. It's currently 428 to 99, making us look like we have a very
and it
active
seems that
Twitch
there's only
chat.
15 people in chat, which is the most surprising part of all of this. I should have maybe increased that number a little
Uh,
bit for the replay.
I mean, hey, this poll's going wild. It's not even halfway out of time.
Yeah, this is going to be a nuts poll. We'll see who does win that. That might actually decide the whole series the way CEO's been going. If someone loses this poll, they might just bomb.
I think this is the greatest scam that LVLCS has ever put up. to drain these people of their channel
Yeah,
points.
you guys are fools. We've been baiting you for years for this.
You
We've
can
been
see
waiting.
in the chat on the league server, everyone's talking about how many points they drain just to make a show on Twitch chat.
Wow, 526 to 320. This is a race, guys. This is pretty close.
It's a lot closer than it was when it was 98-2. I'll give it that.
We are looking at a waiting game. We're playing a little bit of a waiting game. I'm not clicking that link. Actually, wait, that won't show up on screen. I'll click that link. All right, let's see what this link is. Oof.
Yes.
Oof. It's just that Arthur Dent went live 2 seconds ago. Brutal. Really riffing on him. Dalp is here. The deputy man himself, the king of the cops. I don't know. Some type of alliteration. Anyway, Dalb's deputies finally have their leader. The sheriff of the gang has arrived, and we should be jumping on into Champ Select any moment now. Any moment now.
Any moment now.
Should I restart? I'll restart.
Is there,
And Dalb, the sheriff himself, just arrived. They should be jumping into Champ Select any moment now. Nah, it didn't work. Maybe I didn't do it well enough.
No. Yeah. Are they skipping over the pro draft?
They are skipping over the pro draft. They're going to jump right in, right about now.
I'd say that's some
Come
time.
on, this is... I'm going to get it right. I'm going to get it right.
Yeah. You got this.
I got to... Hang on, take a sip of my nice ice cold coriander I've got right here.
100% of the time, 20% of the time, you got this.
And then we jumping into the normal draft because they don't need pro draft right about now. You guys are boning me. I don't want either of these teams to win now. Neither of these teams deserve to win. They have been, boning me this whole time.
You gotta put another option in the poll for the casters to win, and then I'll just spam vote that.
Thank God, yeah. I also have infinite, so I technically could always revote. So I would always win if I wanted to.
Imagine running a poll for your Twitch chat and just rigging it.
Yeah.
The Twitch chat could never
What do you mean
win.
imagine? That's what I do. I don't... Winners POV. Oof. Ready for this stat?
My God.
Commander Cruz
N7
contributed
45,000 channel points for glue leaders there.
He really won.
That was 59-41 in the end. Oh my God. The people who were here watched so much LVLCS. It's nigh unfathomable.
Speaking of unfathomable, there it is. Oh, damn it. I was just going to make a transition into the game is starting, but I got... Oh, you know what? That's on them.
It truly is unfathomable the game finally started. But now I guess we're going to see what the picks and bans are.
So since it's not pro draft, I can kind of talk more quickly. I'm going to allow cowards. That's hilarious. Rek'Sai is a takeaway from Titan. Titan is a really good Rek'Sai player. He plays a lot of things like J4 as well. He's a Titan. Titan plays a lot of this stuff. Lilia is another one. That's just a big in meta right now. You don't want to have to deal with it. I'm expecting a lot of continual jungle bans. Both of these junglers are pretty high tier in my opinion. We might see a ban tossed at Arthur Dent here, or N7, or we might see it be pretty selective based on what they want to play. That's the Arthur Dent ban coming out.
Yeah, that's a lot of jungle bans from both sides.
Well, when you get to these higher tiers...
There's the Camille, but I am a little intrigued. I guess I have never seen almost a dozen Shaco, but these are not what I was expecting out of the bans so far.
Hotel Liquor, that's a good ban against these guys here. Vizzy's a really great Vel'Koz player. The seeds of these teams, Dalp's deputies seeded first in their bracket, and Glue Eaters seeded second in their bracket, but also how they did in the normal season, I believe Dalps had a better record technically. So they have side selection first and third if it does go to a game 3. This is a best of 3. This is to advance to the finals. We will see what happens. Lucian was the first pick.
Yeah, and I guess we're going to see a Kindred in response. I actually... it's not looked in yet.
It is.
Okay, we are going to see the Kindred response. I think that's a really good pick depending on where it goes. I think it's a little risky to pick it up front, just because you can now the side of Dolphs, yes, the side of Dolphs has the opportunity to pick a jungler who's strong in the bat, which could be a big problem for Kindred.
Or
But I
difficult to
do like the
invade on,
pick.
yeah.
Um, so Kindred and Jin. Now I don't know if that Lucian is. I don't know where that Lucian's going. Because Lucian in this meta is a three-way flex.
So I'm thinking, and here's how I do it. I think you take probably jungle support here, and they're going to see the jungle hovered, because then Lucian remains that three-way flex. If you show ADC, you show mid lane, you lose that ability, unless you're so confident, like, okay, they locked in Jin, I like Lucian into Jin, let's run it bottom. Or whatever you might decide on. Taking a support right here would give you that opportunity to three-way flex it, whereas locking in a top laner or a mid laner wouldn't. And I would assume Arthur Dent gets full counter. It does look like that is going to be the support, although Vizzy has played it mid before.
I do, and I do really like the Elise into the Kindred. I think that's a great counter pick. And it's worth mentioning as well, like you said, Swain can also flex mid. And either way, it gives the side of Blue Ears is going to have to be working with practically no information here as to where the Lucian and the Swain are going. You could presume the Swain support, but it could always end up mid. Lucian could be anywhere. It could be on any of these lanes right now.
Well, that's why Swain
So
was a good pickup, because we know Vizzy plays it. Daup could also play it. So it's really, they have two people that can flex all over. The only thing they know for certain is that Elise is going to go in the jungle. I guess Silas, you should say, is a flex as well, but it's most likely in the mid lane. On a Happy Cloud, we could see it tossed to Arthur Dent if it's necessary. They're going to start their next round of bans. I'm expecting, ADC bans coming out from the side of Glue Eaters to try to force that Lucian in a certain spot.
Yep, and I don't know Eddie Chain's pool, but the Ezreal ban from N7 does not surprise me. I will let chat in on a little secret. It's actually not much of a secret at all. There are only two AD carries that N7 does not play, and they are Caitlyn and Kog'Maw. So, other than that, all of them are on the table, but of course there are ones he likes more than others. And if Eddie Chan does in fact have a good Ezreal,
okay, I was going to mention this pick here. Daup is an
Pike.
incredible Pike player. Vizzy could also run it mid, so it really is like a cool flex for them, and I think Daup is really nuts on it, so I'm glad they took it away. They're going to continue to ban more things away. It looks like Arthur Dent's top lane, Gragas, is going to get banned away. As long as the Shen is also gone, it looks like they're hovering the Nautilus here on the side of Glue Eaters. They're going to switch it all up. What will they lock in? The Morgana is going to be locked in if you're Rescued here. Rescued's very, very talented caster support player. If I were to play with Rescued, I would prefer them on a caster support. So I think that this is a good pickup. It also allows them to. Jin Morgana is just good. You can easily chain the Death Blossom with her own black pool. So there's a lot of things that you can do to synergize off of each other. And Malphite is going to be locked in on the side of Daups, and it was insta-locked pretty much.
Yeah. Now, I think that's a really interesting insta-lock because we don't actually know what their top laner is. In my mind, I kind of think of Malphite as a bit of a specialty pick for very heavy AD top laners.
Ooh.
Now, okay, Swain is going mid, and Lucian's going bot, which is what we've learned there. They're going to have the opportunity to counterpick top lane or mid, depending on where they put the Silas on the side of Blue Eaters.
Yeah.
But as I was saying, I think Malphite's a really good specialty pick into AD characters, and since the Silas was already picked, it's like a little troublesome in my mind because that's an easy. You can send them top, and now you can counterpick the mid.
The
But
set
they're
is
going
going to be locked up. Silas is going to go up in that top lane, I believe. Oh, no, they're going to throw. They juking me? Yeah, Silas up in the top lane. I think they're going to end up trading that set for Morgana. I could be dead wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
Happy Cloud plays set the same way I play set. So let me talk about it for a second. Because it's an Emax set, I'm guessing, because it insta-clears waves. Which means, so you can hold it around like level 5 later on. If you hit it level 5, all you have to do is basically auto-attack twice, and it's a full clear. Later in the game, especially if you get something like Sunfire, your E pulls it in and pops them all.
Yeah,
Um,
I was gonna say an early Bobby Cinder would give a pretty good clear.
yeah, it allows you to basically have that priority in the mid lane to go to either scuttle. Um, Lucian is in that mid lane, it looks like right now, which is confusing to me. Maybe they'll switch
Oh yeah,
last
I'm
second.
noticing that too. I have to assume that's intentional because they already switched around, so there's no way the trade buttons aren't working,
Right,
right?
right.
Which means they're doing a Rakan Swain bot lane, which I am very interested to see. I think the choice was made after they picked the Morgana in an effort to try and throw off the Black Shield,
Mm,
so a single Swain Q would break it, and then all of the CC that they have in that bot lane
right,
would
can
be
follow up.
eligible again.
Although they don't
Yeah.
have the same kind of sustained damage they would if they had something like Lucian in the bot lane. I will say also, both of these team comps are fun to watch and can be really good. I think I prefer the team comp of Glue Eaters over Dalps here in the scenario that you're even gold for most of the game. If
Yeah,
you, yeah, if you're behind on either one of these, the other one's kind of going to stop you. But if Glue Eaters are even with Dalps, I really like theirs a lot because the burst from Dalps doesn't work if Kindred's up. If Set has Haymaker, Morgana can throw the Black Shield on somebody to block all the damage in the burst. So getting caught is always tricky with these, and I really like the side of Glue Eaters, like versatility in there, so they're not all in always.
yeah. So I think the thing with this the comps right now is the jungle and mid, in my mind, maybe I'm undervaluing the set mid. I haven't seen it before, but in my mind, it's so heavily over to depth or adults deputies on both of those fronts, and then everything else is so heavily over to glue eaters in the early game that I really don't know how this will go because playing Kindred into Elise is a special level of hell. And I I don't know what that means for the side of Blue Eaters in this game. But
A
at the
lot
same
of it,
time, I do think Morgana allows just such good denial of so many things that the side of
Dalps is
Dulcet
trying.
is trying to do, even
Right.
if we don't take anything else into account.
I will say Kindred's trying to play across the map from Elise and talk about and basically get lucky, get those early draws of okay, it's the bottom side scuttler. I started on the red buff. Let's make sure I grab that right now. Hey, top lane, you're the most viable for them to gank because if Elise started bottom, they showed up late to lane. Knowing where Elise is really important for Kindred because she's not trying to invade Elise. She's trying to invade Elise's jungle or get pressure there. The other thing is Kindred can do incredible amounts of burst damage around level 3. So if Kindred's clear, they skip a camp, they go like, buff, gromp, buff, or whatever they need to do to hit their level 3 as fast as they can after a scuttle, maybe. Get to top lane. You get Silas ahead against Malphite. That's a pretty good lane for Silas. Um, so we'll see what happens level 1, what dictates who goes where and who starts where if there are any invades. Obviously, Morgana and Elise. If Elise is ballsy enough to start that E, they can definitely do something. Um, Red side is glue eaters. Yes, you can see that on the bottom, and as we load into game, you will see it up on the top as well here, um, along with their logo. So glue eaters is on the red side, and Dalps Deputies is on the left side. They are the blue side, and we're gonna see who's able to take game one here.
Now, I will say, uh, Jin is not one of N7's favorite AD carries.
Okay.
He will play it, but he definitely has other preferences. So I'm interested to see his performance on this, especially into a Rakan Swain lane, because that's also a bit different than what you usually face as a Jin.
Sure. Um, see if any pings come out in the early stages of the game. We see most people have already bought items. Pretty traditional starts from everybody here.
Now, I do
Lucian
have to
hasn't bought
say,
and Lucian hasn't moved. I'm expecting a pause. There it is. They're going to say
while we
something.
have this pause,
Yeah.
I feel obliged. I haven't even looked at the side of the of Dallas Deputies, but I think Glue Eaters already won the skin battle simply because they have Spirit Blossom Kindred with one of the Chromas, which is a pretty fantastic skin, and I know they have some good ones aside from that.
All right, here's the one thing. I didn't look either because I was setting up the stream to make sure it transitioned properly. But if Swift Ranger is wearing Shamrock Malphite, which is by far the worst skin of all time, just so by far, it's terrible, and that's why it's my favorite. So if he is running that, they're gonna win hands down, just for how bad that skin is. And I think, to be fair, other than maybe Vizzy on this Lucian, the side of Blue Eaters have better champions to have skins on, although almost it does have a nice skin on this Elise.
Yeah, and there aren't many nice skins on Elise, so that's pretty impressive. I'm similarly impressed that Silas even has a skin because he only has two.
This is a really deep invade right here. They're avoiding as much vision as they can. They're going to find this Swain right here. No, the forward by Silas is going to grab him. Arthur Dent's already got a little bit of CC on the flash. Is burned by Eddie Chan. They're going to take that as a win and figure out where they are going to start on this Kindred. It is always so important. Kindred is marked Elise because if mid lane or bot lane or top lane can get their wave ahead and they can fight over a certain scuttle, then they get the mark on Elise, they get the scuttle. That's a huge win for Titan. We really snowball them into a significant lead. And I think they're trying to do that from possibly the mid lane here. Happy Cloud knows that this is a tough matchup for him. He has opted for, instead of the phase rush, he's running with the fleet footwork. I think he must also have inspiration as a secondary, although I can't see.
Yeah, and as the game gets started up, there's one thing I want to say, which is that I had a personal hypothesis, which was that CEO's picks were going to be more standard and meta than economies, and I think this game has already proved me wrong between the set mid and the Swain AP carry in the bot lane. I feel very stupid.
I think that both of these teams are trying to play to their strengths and also give themselves certain leads. Swift Ranger trading really effectively onto Arthur Dent right there, but Arthur Dent does have a lot of healing that they can do once they level up a little bit.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Malphite took his W to pull that off, right?
Yeah, start your W with the grasp. You can do really effective damage early on. You get that double auto hit.
Yeah, very smart from Swift Ranger to be able to call that out. It's a risky thing to take a fight like that, but it can be recognized that Arthur Dent doesn't, Silas in general does not have the tools to make a level 1 fight like that work if Malphite's auto attacks are going to be just doing more damage in general.
Yeah, and Elise had started her blue buff. Kindred also started their blue buff, so they actually are across the map right now doing their reds respectively, which means that there are going to be certain things up that normally, like if top lane is the mark, that's really good for Kindred. Obviously, it's a 50-50 here to see what actually happens, but she's going to invade and there's going to be nothing there.
And there is something about... So, I will talk briefly. I talked about this last stream.
Hold that thought for a second, because Elise is coming into the bot lane. They already used that black shield. We're probably going to zip back down there in a second, but Arthur Dent gets another tower shot. He's dropping so low, he doesn't have enough healing to survive. Oh, the double flash from both of them. Can he win it? First blood goes over to Swift Ranger, and bot lane somehow narrowly escaped from that Elise gank right there, and Kindred gets the mark they want. So a win and a loss for Glue Eaters right there.
Yeah, and that's a very, very big start for Swift Ranger. As we talked about, not a great lane for Malphite. So being able to make those calls, say, I'm going to start W, and just start whacking him at level 1, pull off that level 3 fight that he was able to take.
Oh, and Kindred is right here. Now the mark is on Elise. He's able to dodge the stun. Is going to take that W to the face. We got a DC in the mid lane. I'm expecting a pause. There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the LB LCS. If you've never seen us before, aren't a part of our league, feel free to go onto the bottom, click our Discord, join us. You're free to play in all of our leagues if you're able. It is a really fun league, and you can even get streamed on like we're streaming right now. We stream all different levels, so we have an economy league. It's about a gold. We've got a gold plat league, and this is the CEO, so this is like the diamond plus league. There is no way that there aren't more pauses in this, so I think we need something to bring up every time it pauses.
Yeah? What are you thinking?
I wasn't really thinking. It's not. That's not a forte of mine.
I was just going to color cast it. You sounded like you had an idea. There's something I want to talk about specifically with Malphite's runes. And it's something I have very minimal experience as a Malphite player, but it's enough to understand the difference between Grasp and Comet. Um, and so I think Swift Ranger. I mean, Swift Ranger's played this lane very well. He is in a not very good matchup. He was able to get first blood. He was able to push his advantages. I think he's doing a fantastic job. But something I've noticed is that when Malphites are in defensive lanes where they need to pick up slack for the fact that they're in a poor matchup, they'll take grasp, right? But the reason they take grasp is because it's a deficient matchup. So they want to have that trading power, they want to have that healing power. So they'll take grasp instead of comet, which is the standard rune for when a Malphite wants to be able to harass and kind of push a lead, maybe. Um, and so the issue is uh, grasp doesn't actually do what you think it would do when you take it on Malphite. And the reason why is because you take it for the extra trading power and the healing that it gives you, uh, so that you can have that advantage on your lane opponent. But that's only when you're able to activate Grasp. Comet you can activate significantly more easily with something like with Malphite's Q, and it hits pretty consistently because of the
The
slow.
right?
Yeah, and because of that, Grasp actually ends up being better for giving you an advantage in lane, because it allows you to, or not Grasp, Comet allows you to give you better advantage in lane because you can just deal that damage more consistently. You can take mana flow band so that you have more mana to cast more Qs.
Here's what I'll say to
Um,
this. I'll
yeah,
make a comment because I do play a decent amount of Malphite, and I understand this matchup pretty well. But Silas has decent healing in their kit. Harass doesn't do as much as being able to basically negate their engage and their damage that they do onto you. So Malphite went for Grasp. They also took Inspiration, so they're getting those cookies. They're getting that extra little bit of healing and utility in their lane. And you can see they already bought, yes, the refillable pot, but also a regen bead because they're trying to basically
yeah.
sustain that lane. They know it's not a winning lane. They know it's not a winning matchup. They need to make it until, okay, now we're team fighting. Now I'm actually useful and what I can do, and I didn't feed aggressively in my lane. I didn't give up too much pressure top. We can get some scuttles top, maybe have pressure around Herald. So it's a different way of thinking. It's like, okay, I'm not trying to win lane or to bully lane. I'm trying to mitigate damages done to my tower, to myself, make sure I can have a little bit of CS. He's down 11 right now. Very early. He did get the kill, so it's probably even gold. But still, like, what he's
Well,
taking
so
here
that's
is
the thing.
probably Grasp. He's taking Demolish. I bet you he's taking a lot more useful things for his team in the Resolve tree.
That's I You didn't let me finish. What I was going to say was that I think Swift Ranger has been using this grasp impeccably. Because what usually happens is Malphites in a defensive matchup take grasp, but then they act as though they've taken Comet. And that's the flaw,
Sure.
where they will still play a normal lane of Malphite as though they took the usual Comet that works so well on him. But I think Swift Ranger has done such a good job picking grasp and using it for what it's for and understanding why he took grasp. Because the first thing we saw him do was just start punching Arthur Dent with his W. And he understood that in the first two levels, he could just do that. He could just outdamage Arthur Dent with his W as his first ability and actually outtrade him with grasp. And because of that, because he was able to take these fights where the two of them were just auto attacking each other like big, idiots, he's actually able to use the grasp super effectively because when you're, in these 8-second fights where the only two things are these two AP characters auto attacking each other, it's really effective. And he was able to make great use of it and get first blood. So I think he's done, I would have criticized that choice because even against sustained characters like Silas, it usually ends up being better to have the comment than it is to have the grasp if you're not going to use the grasp because in a lot of times Malphites will auto attack the other person unless they're right on top of them. But
Speaking of what you're
I think he has done
speaking
a
of,
beautiful job using the
I
grasp.
think that something we didn't really dissect enough about Dalps, and we did have a reconnect, so we should see the unpause happen pretty soon. Um, but Dalp's composition lacks a lot of actual attack damage. Um, Really, you're relying on Lucian to provide that all, and that's fine because Lucian is a champion that absolutely mid-late game can provide enough attack damage to carry some team fights to help verse some people. But Vizzy goes down or can't finish off certain targets like Kindred with the ultimate Set with the Haymaker, you're going to find yourself in a position where Set has now stacked enough MR where people like Swain, people like Elise aren't going to be able to burst him down in any manner. He'll be able to heal up. He has protection from people like Silas, who basically can just take Malphite ult as well and actually be building AP.
Now, there is something I want to mention. That's the captain of Sensei Randall. And on the same team as the Notorious Bud, which is that Lucian started Cull, which in Sensei Randall's is known as the ultimate chat move.
He's fighting inside of his own minions right now. He does not know that Kindred is coming up. Kindred's only level 3. Arthur Dent is pretty low, but this is a pretty good use from Arthur Dent to stall him right here. If Titan's able to get this kill, it could be really big for him. He picks up the 300 gold onto Swift Ranger. Did not mark him, though.
I have a very important question.
Yeah.
Did Kindred have her mark on that Malphite?
No, it was on Elise still when they killed it, I believe.
Okay. So, that is still very good for Silas. It's going to give him that breathing room that he needed. And that's huge for Kindred. As someone who has played Kindred, again, minimally, but I have played them a good bit, that, like, having that extra early gold is insanely useful. So we'll see if Titan can put it to good use. It'll let Arthur Dent reset here, kind of get some more breathing room. So I think that's a good, punch back from the side of Blue Eaters.
Speaking of punching back, the mid lane with the double punch from Set looks like it's going pretty much how he wants it. A pretty slow lane, right? He wants to be safe with this fleet footwork and farm up. Staying even with Lucian, or even a little bit ahead, is his goal, because eventually he'll be able to just pop lanes, roam for Kindred, and make sure that she can grab her marks in that Elise jungle. Ocean Drake is the first Drake. We see both junglers converging on this mid lane here. Level 6 for both mid laners, level 4 for both junglers. Happy Cloud maybe going a little bit too in, does not connect the E, is going to go a little bit lower, has that Haymaker, is going to be able to use it because a nice stun from almost a dozen locks him up, and the kill goes over to Busy. That's going to be big for Lucian here.
Yeah, that was a impeccable stun from the Elise there. Just blocking him up as the Lucian ult was bearing down on him. You could tell that Set was waiting on that W so that he'd be able to block as much damage as possible, but Elise stops him from even doing it, and that's just huge. Lucian's not even, low health because of that. He's able to contest this to teleport a little and actually push the lane in. That's pretty big.
While all of that was going on, the bot lane scuttle is what received the mark, and Elise was able to pick it up. So denying a mark for them, but here comes Rakan going in on N7. Eddie Chan's gonna try to make sure he can dash out, and he does. Swift Ranger and Arthur Dent are doing that thing where the top laners slap each other and nothing happens.
Yeah, that's the top lane. We played top lane for a number of seasons, and that's been the meta for the past 4, so...
Swift Ranger looks like they're waiting for something, possibly just letting this push a little bit to make sure that, as Elise is pathing up there, make sure that there's a little bit of pressure on him.
Now, we haven't seen a lot of the Swain bot, so I don't really know how it's been performing, because there's been a lot of action on the top side of the map.
Farming fine.
But the farm is even. It's relatively impressive.
Oh, but here comes Titan jumping over the wall. Titan still has Elise marked and has not changed that, as Dalp's going to get rooted up by the binding and get ignited. He might go down a nice little jump away, is going to keep him safer, but Titan's going to go even further. A flash from Dalp is going to keep him safe, for he is the sheriff of the team.
Now, I'm not sure. You'll have to give your opinion on this, but I do think that Titan, he flashed there, as we all saw, but I think he accidentally sidestepped out of the W before he used his hop.
Before he used the
Q. And that may have caused him to lose the CDR bonus on it.
Right.
I'm not totally sure, but that
you can hop out of it, and you get the CDR bonus still.
Yeah,
if you flash out of it, you don't. With your next
after he flashed, I think he actually stepped out of it before he queued.
Right. I believe you're right.
Caused him to lose that CDR bonus.
There's a lot of damage coming onto him. He even stole the ultimate. I think you're going to see Arthur Dent get that kill up there in the top lane. Not quite.
Now, I have a question for you, as a fellow caster, that I actually don't know about Silas. When Silas ults, does it show his ult in the upper right-hand corner as the ult of the person he stole, or does it just put it on cooldown from our vision?
I think it just straight up puts it on cooldown.
Okay.
I haven't spectated many Sylas players, but the
Yeah.
dragon is picked up here for Dalb's deputies. The usage of Sylas's ult is usually what you would see. You wouldn't see, like, when we flash back to Sylas, there is no ult that he's holding right now, so I could be wrong. It would
I think
show
you're
the
correct.
Malphite.
It was just an interesting. It was something I had to learn because I've never spectated Sylas either. And you know, making sure it's a big difference between whether his ult is on cooldown or whether he's holding a Malphite ult. So
Yeah, and he has a pretty short cooldown for his ultimate. Obviously, he can't grab Malphites right away. Kindred did pick up another stack in that top lane river. And the bot lane's doing a little dance for vision right here. Gold is very even.
now you do see Kindred in the top lane. I actually thought that Malphite was going to defeat him back there, but he did not. So there's.
Oh, here comes
maybe
Kindred.
something.
Still has Elise mark and hasn't changed it. This will absolutely be a kill for one of these people here. Malphite has no ultimate, has no flash, and dies to the Lamb and Wolf.
So let's do a thought experiment. Why do you think he's left the mark on the Elise if he's not actually coming into much encounter with her?
I don't know.
Okay, that's.
I
that's a
honestly
short
don't know.
thought
I
experiment,
usually
but-
don't. So it might be because if you start marking it, and he did actually mark Malphite at the end, it just didn't move over fast enough. But if you don't mark, they don't know that you're going a certain direction. Obviously, you can kind of bait and switch it, like you can mark someone bot lane and gank top. Rescued should die right here. We'll see what does happen. Almost a dozen might even go down. Does not have an E to go up into the air and is only going to hit a little bit of damage on N7. But here comes Busy trying to pick up the kill, and they do. It's a 4-4 score, but a lot of gold and advantage to that top lane with the Glue Eaters. You'll take that top lane tower with that Herald.
Yeah. Now, sorry. So, who went down in that fight?
A bunch of different people went down. We saw Jin die to Busy. We saw Morgana die to Eddie Chan. As another fight is going to break out, Eddie Chan and Arthur Dent are going to look like identical people right here, but there is no chance for Chan as he is going to go down. Busy's even getting fought in the mid lane, and they do have an ultimate here, so we know that they're definitely safe. Kindred does not have a pop that yet.
Okay, I thought Busy was about to go down to the challenging smite, and I was going to be impressed because I think challenging smite's very bad. If he went down there, that would have just been so big brain for Titan. I'm not sure I would have been prepared.
Challenging smite is really good for Kindred because you have elongated team fights. Even if your ult isn't up, you have just healing basically in your kit.
Yeah.
So it's
But I was about to say how that was really good for Busy, and he didn't manage to live there. But he's 2-0. He has some Murder Mana. Still, Glue Eater's able to pick up the run back there onto Swain, get the kill on Arthur Dent. Very good, I think. I think they just played that very well. Overall, though, very close game. 2K in the favor of the side of Glue Eaters, which I'm going to say is rather impressive, just because, you know, they
it's
have
basically
first
that entire
tower.
tower gold.
Yeah, they have first tower, they have that kill, but still, this has been a relatively, you know, close game. So being able to pull ahead without, you know, too many kills, that's still pretty good in my book.
Yeah, outplaying the macro is always important, no matter what level you're at, whether you are playing on your team Sensei Randalls, who doesn't always get the most kills, but just out macros with your giant Chad in the top lane, or in CEL, where you get the Herald, you know when to use it, you see Elise maybe isn't in the lane, and you can get a kill top lane and drop it. We see that they do get another mark. Can you be my Kindred mark checker so I don't have to click it? If you just double tap Kindred, because I believe that.
Yeah, sure. What does that entail? What do you need me to do?
Click on Kindred's
And that's
portrait,
it?
and then look at for the mark. It should be like
Okay, yep. Yeah, I mean, she's at 3 marks right now.
Yep.
I don't know who holds it, but...
Lucian is actually just receiving that mark. The eye pops above him currently, and he knows he is marked and being looked at in at least a little bit of a manner. As the next Drake that's spawning is Infernal, so we're either going to get a Cloud Drake or a Mountain. Happy Cloud gonna get caught up by almost a dozen. Does have that haymaker down. Oh, there it is. It's up, and he's gonna use it, but it doesn't connect on somebody. A nice ultimate's gonna keep him safe for a little bit longer, and a stun on both of them. He only is able to half health one of them, and he does go down.
I gotta give credit to Happy Cloud for being able to make it last that long. That was not. He was in there for a while.
Flash from Rescue's
I
gonna
feel like he
keep
should have
them
died 10
safe.
seconds before he did.
They're gonna get pulled in by Eddie Chan. They're gonna have to burn that. They will not have Flash available, so they will go down in the end. But another kill on the other end, up in the top lane, mid lane rather, as they're coming down. Swift Ranger's gonna rejoin with his team. Kindred does have ultimate, but doesn't really want to use it. I think they both want to try to escape right here. Maybe bothered a little bit people. That might have been too much from Down, because there's a teleport now coming in, and Happy Cloud's going to rejoin this fight in just a moment. Here he comes. He's sprinting in. The one thing Set lacks is gap closing, but here he comes. He's going to hit a lot of people. The Haymaker's going to connect onto nobody, but Titan picks up his 4th kill of the game. They're looking for the 5th right here. He's not able to pick it up, but it goes on to Happy Cloud, and the last one is going to go over 2. Glue Eaters cleaning up that fight and turning what looked like a bad situation into a good one.
Wow. And so I want to compliment both teams there. Because besides Dallas Deputies did a great job recognizing that they, after killing Set, that they could push a lead everywhere around the map and be able to secure that dragon. Well, not everywhere, but push it bot so that they had control around that dragon. And I'm about to say, this is looking pretty troll from the Glue Eaters trying to push 2 members into 4. But they knew that Set had that teleport. They were setting up for that play.
Right.
They executed it.
A little bit of overzealousness from the support, from the sheriff himself, Dalp there as well. Another thing I want to mention is that Happy Cloud did rush what I was talking about. Whenever you're laning Set, Emax into an early Bomby Cinder, and that's what he does have. He picked it up way earlier in the game. I didn't mention it. It insta-clears wave, so he can get really quick pressure in the mid lane. As Dalp is getting a lot of pressure in the mid lane right now, the Death Blossom does miss, but Arthur Dent was able to chunk him out a lot there. He's going to grab that Lucian ult as well, probably to clear wave or to try to finish somebody off.
And I also, I want to throw a bone Arthur Dent's way. Because not only was he able to recover from that first death on Silas.
Little troll right there from Mizzy.
But he also has been really good about maintaining CS control in the top lane. And we know he didn't always have prior over that lane. He was suffering early on because of some good plays from Swift Ranger. But, he's almost 50 CS ahead. And he was really able, even from the start, even when he died for First Blood, it was 19-11 in farm. So he's been doing a really good job maintaining control over that CS and keeping himself in the game with that gold, in addition to the kills.
Yeah, and if we look at the allocation of gold, he's 3k up on his lane opponent. He has the most gold on his team. In fact, in the game, the most gold is on Arthur Dent, immediately followed up by their jungler Titan, but Arthur Dent's now in a tricky situation. He does have that ultimate, he's going to drop it, but he might not have the healing to break through. There's a nice Ignite's going to suppress a lot of that healing, and he should go down right now. A shutdown gold over to almost a dozen.
Now, I do think he was going down there regardless, but I'm pretty sure he was in the middle of his W animation there. It's very sad to see someone die right before that giant heal comes out. Because it could have gave him even more time.
A lot of patience here, but Titan might get spotted. They do from that sweeper. Nothing else is going to come of this. Both teams get it back up. Now, Kindred does have Herald sitting in their trinket spot. Oh my god, they're going to open up in the mid lane. A flash is burned from Lucian to keep him safe.
Now, I don't think I've even mentioned this, but can we talk about the fact that Titan is 4-0 on Kindred into a bad matchup?
Yeah, maybe a bad matchup, but got early kill, right? Got early stacks, was able to use it, has played really safe, farming mentality kind of, always playing across the map from Elise. And now dropping this second Herald that they've got in this game in the mid lane. Really good control over objectives themselves. We do know also that it is Cloud Drake that will be the soul. That benefits both teams pretty heavily. But I would argue it benefits Silas and Set a lot more than it does benefit Malphite Swain. So
I was actually going to say Kindred and Morgana, but I agree. I think the thing is, well, it's hard to say, right? Because Malphite and Rakan benefit from it a lot. But the fact that Silas can steal all of their ultimates, and they also have some, massive ults. Like some of the biggest in the games, i.e. Kindred's, are just so important, and the alt CD would do so much for them. I do definitely think the Glue Eaters benefit more. They also have Red Side, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that gives them a bit of an easier dragon approach.
It does give them an easier dragon approach because they don't have to go over a wall, and their two paths to get to dragon are very close. Whereas the two paths for the blue side to get to dragon are much more split, so either you're going in all together or you're going in slightly split. You need to make that convergence quickly. We also see him working for that Storm Razor, so they have a little bit more catch potential right now on that Kindred. Has that BF finished, has that an attack speed item finish that charges up. Arthur Dent showing the top lane. Both top laners do have teleport. Arthur Dent's a level up. It's a very top lane fight as almost it doesn't, just bothering N7 a little bit.
Now, Kindred, you know, they're going the standard Kindred build, which I think is less interesting than the Blood Razor build, but I do have to say they've been doing a great job with what they've been doing. So I'm not going to judge them, particularly because the Blood Razor build is worse. I just like it. But I'm kind of intrigued in general. We haven't talked too much about the build this game.
Yeah, the Zen might actually be pretty close because actually Elise was topside. I confused Elise for Rakan right there, but Elise was topside. Still marked by Titan. Did switch to Malphite at one point, but has now switched back to Elise. They're going to actually look over for Baron right now. They have 3 people rotating for at least Vision there.
I don't know when, but Titan did get that 4th stack. And that's the biggest one, which is because that's the one that gives you the biggest buff of all. That's the 75 attack range. You now have more attack range than the Aphrodite carry, which is going to be pretty big. So I guess we'll see where it goes from there. But in the meantime, again, like you said, she has her mark on the Elise. She's really enjoyed having that mark on the Elise, even though I don't think the two of them have really been super involved in killing each other.
Well, it's interesting because I think for the most part Titan's trying to play cross-map from the Elise, so marking them is not necessarily counterintuitive, but not going to be that useful. And Cemetery might be getting caught out right now. A nice heal is going to make sure that he does die. Nice ultimate's going to burn that heal, rather. And the teleport in from everybody. Looks like Swift Ranger might be in a little bit of trouble. He's going to use his ultimate to escape from here. Happy Cloud and Arthur Dent starting to own this bot lane as Dalps is waiting for reinforcements to arrive.
Now, did your directed camera troll you there too? Because I was just watching Kindred walk down the lanes.
Really? No, I was watching a Malphite teleport very slowly.
Okay. That's a little more interesting. It might have been the fact that I was checking Kindred's face, but it did say I was on directed camera. Now, a lot of the ults on the side of Blue Eaters are still up, which is really important because we've talked about how powerful their ults are. Actually, all of them are. I thought Silas was down.
Yeah, the only ult that we really saw used was Malphite and Lucian on the side of Dalps. Lucian to pick up that kill onto Jhin, and 7 goes to 1, 3, and 2. And Malphite's was used just to escape because he teleported into basically 2 people. Probably originally thought it was 1. As you can see on your right side of your screen, both teleports are almost in unison with them cooling down.
Yeah. Now, it's worth mentioning, pretty much every single flash in the game is up. Lucian's is just a hair on cooldown. But this is going to lead to some pretty interesting stuff in the next couple minutes, because I pretty much know, like, attempts at picks are going to work out.
Oh, talking about picks, Arthur Dent and Rescued really looking for one. Dalp's able to be a little bit slippery. Can he get all the way away? It looks like he probably will be able to as they root up Arthur Dent for a moment there. He's almost getting some damage on the Dalp. He's looking for it. They're going to get a lot of damage out of them under this tower, and Jhin is popping with his ultimate. Arthur Dent does have that ignite item. He can't heal as much. Almost a dozen looking for it. Can they pick up this kill onto Eddie Chan in the backline? They're unable to. The binding does miss as well. A nice stun here from almost a dozen, but he can't pick up the kill. A nice interception there from Morgana. Oh, but Fizzy has arrived, and the damage is coming out. He's going to have to run away now because N7 could Death Blossom here. As soon as he has it up, he might choose to. A nice exhausted. Oh, but here comes the body slam from a Happy Cloud. And oh my God, never leave your ADC alone. He will go down. The Haymaker's going to come out. It's not going to connect onto enough people. And what looked like a good fight for Glue Eaters has turned on its head. Dalps, the deputy, said you may have shot the sheriff, but you didn't shoot the deputy. Here we are.
Yeah, and I just want to, I think that was an incredibly well fought fight from both sides. I think the side, I mean, that whole fight started with Arthur Dent trying to pick Rakan. And I think the unfortunate thing about that choice of pick was that he had, he saw the Rakan, he went in on him, but he didn't realize that another person was nearby. And as soon as someone else is nearby, Rakan suddenly has 2 jumps instead of 1. So he couldn't even get him for a flash. But with that said, incredible fight from the side of Blue Eaters to recognize that, be able to push that lead. But I think Vizzy just crushed that fight.
Mm-hmm.
He knew exactly what he had to do. He took so much time away from so many members of Blue Eaters in that fight while they were trying to track him down and lock him down. And the rest of Dallas Deputies were able to catch up and just punish Blue Eaters for it. And now this game's looking a lot closer than it was a couple minutes ago. Like you said, I think that the side, late game team fights definitely go to the side of Blue Eaters. But Dallas Deputies are starting to prove us wrong, I think.
Yeah,
so we'll see where it goes
we're
next couple
in
minutes.
that kind of later mid-game stage right now. We're branching out to that 25th minute. The 4th dragon is going to spawn. It would be the 3rd for the side of Blue Eaters, the 2nd for the side of Dalps. And I think it's really important that Dalps are able to get this if they want to have a comeback rescue. Now getting caught out and a lot of damage onto them. They're going to pick up that kill. Now they're looking for Seth. They're going to turn their attention to them. Arthur Dent has arrived for this fight. He's going to steal up Elise's ultimate. He's going to just go right into it. This is a huge fight from the side of Dalps. I think they're going to pick up a lot of kills right here. A huge haymaker, but it's not going to be enough as Dalps wipe the board and take 3 for 0.
Now, I know that fight was hugely important to the outcome of this game, but I'd rather talk about if you saw the same visual bug that I did with Arthur Dent.
Did he turn into a spider?
I mean, he did.
And then what?
But that's normal. It's the fact that when he died, it said that Elise had killed Elise, and not that Elise had killed Silas.
I didn't see that. I'm sure it did show that, but I really didn't see it. I'm pretty sure the chat did see it.
It was really wacky. I mean, I'm sure it had to do with the fact that he stole Elise's ultimate and was transformed into Elise.
Right.
But he's still Silas.
Yeah, Deathbox is going to go out and connect as well. The teleport is now coming in. This Baron is getting bursted down, but speaking of getting bursted down, Rescued has to burn the heal of N7 Shepherd. I have now frozen on my screen. Now I'm back as Arthur Dent steals the ultimate of Swift Ranger. It's a pretty good engage ultimate, and they basically just forced them off of the Baron here.
Yeah, I think Dalps Deputy is terrified of the fact that the Silas has that ultimate. I mean, the thing about having that ultimate on Silas, Malphite, he can't really capitalize on the AP ratio on that unless he's going to use their Malphite.
They're going to start it up. They're going to force a response. They're saying, yeah, you have to come and fight us, or maybe we can try to get a pick here with Silas going in, but a lot of damage from Vizzy. N7 almost goes down, but here's the engage from Arthur Dent. He's going to lock up a lot of people with a body slam from Happy Cloud means he does go down. It's a 1-for-1 right now. Almost a dozen. Might go down himself, but a good ultimate from Titans. Going to keep everybody alive for at least a little bit longer. They're waiting for their damage to burst, and Elise is going to take out Kindred. But Jin takes out Elise, and now everybody's fighting for their lives. Eddie Chan trying to run away, but Happy Cloud has punched him into oblivion. Oh, good backup here from Rakan, and a lot of healing onto Eddie Chan. Might just keep him alive. They're able to pick up one. Can they pick up the other? Jin has died in the backside over there to the Malphite. Now they're trying to finish off Dalp, the sheriff of Dalp's deputies. Happy Cloud punching away. They don't have the speed to catch him here. It looks like it will just be a 3-for-3. Unless Dalp does go down.
Oh my god, Arthur Dent is innovating on Silas in front of my eyes with that play. You saw that too, right? He used the slow to hit the stun as she was casting it. Now, that is what we in Sensei Randalls call a Rav cancel. I will let you wonder what the origin of that is. That is just incredible coming out from Silas. Clearly knows his character, clearly knows his build, clearly knows what he's doing. Very impressive.
Now, there's a lot going on in the game, but I want to address something chat has asked. Howdy. And also, question. If the LBLCS were to have a giveaway, what low-budget item would y'all pick? Wow. An empty bottle of coriander beer is my pick, I think, for the giveaway. Sipped by either a Spooky Man or LeChance. That's my pick, I think. That's what I would go with.
Now,
Arthur Dent might be getting caught here in the mid lane. He does have a Swain ultimate, it looks like. He's going to use that, try to stall time. Here comes Morgana, going to try to help him. He has a lot of healing in this kit, especially able to pop that Swain ult. I think Malphite's looking for this ultimate, trying to hit him up, but everybody's now back, and Kindred does have that ability to say no one dies in this circle, making it very hard to dive them. Set is looking for the flank behind, although there's a nice ward right there that will catch him out. A pause is going to be initiated. Guys, this is proper pause etiquette. If anything does happen, you have a DC, you have something go on, always pause outside of fights. Both teams are allocated 15 minutes of pause time since you have to share 30. And it's really important to make sure you're not pausing at some time that would be considered BM or cheating or anything like that. So this is very proper pause etiquette where, yes, something could be set up in the next few moments, but right now, no one is currently engaged in a fight. No one is currently fighting over an objective or a tower or anything like that. What elo is this? This is diamond and above. There's maybe a couple high plats in here.
Now, this game is crazy close. Like, if we were to look at the gold differential chart for this game, I think it peaked at like 3.8, maybe 15 minutes ago. But like, the gold here is not changing much at all. I think both sides have had fantastic plays in their own rights. And there's so much going on. So as we're sitting here, we can see that both teams are grouped. Both teams are mid lane. The only exception is that Silas is on a semi-flank in the bot side river. What do you think is going to happen with this next fight? I don't know how many minutes out we are from the next dragon. But what do you think is
We're
going to happen?
1 minute 30 seconds out from the next dragon. So you're looking at a dragon spawning at like, what, 30, 28 or something. So it's important to note a couple of things. One, where are these item spikes right now? Kindred does have the IE completed. They've got a lot of different items. Set, although went for that like very AD heavy early, now has the adaptive helm, is going to basically negate so much damage from Swain and a lot of damage from Elise as well. Lucian has that heal cutting. So when you look at the items right here, I think that it is definitely in favor of Glue Eaters to take this next fight. They have the Rapid Fire and the IE finished on Jin, who also has that heal cutting finished. As long as the cooldown items on the side of Silas are done, and Silas picks out the right ultimate, I think it's in Glue Eater's court to finish this up. Dalps really needs to find a pick and finish it off. You have tools to do that. You have the Elise web. You have the ability for Rakan to CC people, for Swain to pull them in. You have a good amount of burst if Lucian is near you. If Lucian's not, it's going to be a little bit harder. The only thing you can't do is catch the one person you really, really want to, which is Titan, because he has that ultimate.
Yeah, and I think, well, there's a couple. I mean, there's a lot of things going on, but let's kind of break it down, right? First of all, you pointed something out to me, which is very important, which is that Kindred's building crit. But more specifically, they're building the attack damage crit items between Storm Razor and IE. I don't know if Storm Razor meta. It's been a couple, I don't know, I'd say about like 3-4 months since I've actually played Kindred consistently. But that, those two items, no lifesteal, maybe than other than their runes, is at least I'm pretty squishy outside of the ultimate, but allows them to do a lot of damage. Additionally, the Zanya's on Morgana could prove huge in terms of disrupting a fight and allowing her to both live, set up kills, etc. As long as she doesn't get Malphite ulted and just die within a CC before she has the ability to use it effectively. So I think there's a lot of things on Glue Eater's side. But at the same time, looking at the side of Delph Deputies, Malphite has both the Sunfire and the Abyssal Mask, the classic Ornn build as we know it. The Elise has Morellonomicon. She can heal cut. I don't think it's going to be super effective for the Magic Pen unless she's able to really catch out Titan or N7 or something. But that's still big. If you're able to heal cut the Arthur Dent here, that's huge. And even though a lot of people talk about how gold inefficient Morellonomicon is, sparing Swain the time to have to build that, sparing, these other champions, the necessity of that can be pretty big. And down the list, I still think the items are pretty even. So I think we'll have to see. I think you're right. Between just the champion picks and the items that the side of Glue Eaters have built, I think they can do more with it. But it's a pretty close game.
It's absolutely a very close game. The other thing that we haven't really been counting, like right now we're paused. And one of the things we usually talk about when it's paused too is like warding and positioning of players. Right now, Dalps have superior warding on the proper objectives and have everybody kind of grouped. And Set should be caught out if they step an inch. So it's very difficult for them to set up the flank they want without being caught out and engaged upon, where Glue Eaters need to be able to find that to start a fight effectively, because they don't really have, I mean, when you look at team fight ultimates, yes, Morgana, Silas can take Malphites, you have Sets, you have Jins, they're all good. But to start a fight, it really does mean one person has to get all the way in there, and normally that would be Set. That wouldn't be a problem for Set. You get the move speed advantage with your Q running at them. You're able to grab somebody, dive all the way in, pull them together, and Haymaker. But if he gets caught out, there's no way they would fall for that. So you really have to be careful with, okay, where's our vision? Where can we actually come in from? Because right now, Seth's coming in from a spot where they have no vision.
That's true. That said, I do think, well, for one, Seth has pretty high base movement speed. I think if he gets caught on vision, a Happy Cloud will have the opportunity to, maybe see that people are turning towards him and back up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not. We'll see. But the pick is possible. I think in general, for this next fight, a lot of ults are down. The side of Blue Eaters only has Kindred and Set ult. The side of Adults Deputy, I mean, they have Elise ult, but they practically only have Malphite and Swain ult.
Right.
Now, both of those are huge, but I think, we've kind of talked about it, talked about a lot. Kindred ult is the highest value ult in the game, but it's also one of those ones like Bard where it can kind of turn on you depending on the usage. I think Titan's been pretty on point with his so far, so we'll have to see.
Yeah,
but I think the ult advantage does kind of go to that side.
He's been playing very, very well. He also has a lot of CS when you look at Elise's, although the mid lane gap in CS is also a very apparent. This gold lead is pretty unsubstantial, right? It's almost 30 minutes into the game. It's about a 1K gold lead. It doesn't mean that much. At this point in the game, because, okay, how does my champion scale? What level are we? Can we get Titan to level 16 before almost a dozen hits 15? Because then your smite battle is pretty much over. Not only are you Kindred, but now you have a increased smite. Your ability to basically burst is higher. And it's a lot more difficult to try to choose to engage on a Kindred who's doing an objective than to engage on an Elise, because Kindred can basically negate the burst that you want to do. They're setting up for this next dragon. It spawns in about 37 seconds. It's not soul point, so it's okay to concede if you need to. But I think both teams are going to fight for it.
Now, I don't know if Delph doesn't really have to to see it, but I think Blue Eaters is kind of telegraphing that they really want this next dragon. Mm-hmm. We've talked about how huge Cloud Drake is for their team, and the fact they're also super high value. And, the rotation speed, if they get Silv, is nice. But I kind of like to see, they don't have any teleports on their side, so I guess they can't truly pull it off. But they were not sending someone top side. If they applied more pressure to that, you can kind of see Set ambivalent in the base there about heading top or heading towards the dragon. I would like to see some more pressure from Delta Deputies on that.
Yeah, and that's also just a strategy of how your team would play as well. It's a little bit of an indicator. Okay, we really like the 4-1. They don't have a teleport up. They aren't able to do that. The dragon is started up. It will be a full 5-on-5, an absolute clash, and this is the rotation that we talked about from Set. They do ping it out. He is noticed, but he's applying that pressure from another angle, which means they cannot go forward without dealing with him first, and now he's nearby. He's able to grab somebody and throw him in like the Swain. He can be really, really big. Now he's all the way behind. A huge engage here from Arthur Dent's going to lock up a lot of people. The ultimate from Set's going to knock him down. It looks like Arthur Dent's going to have to use that. Zonia's, but a Haymaker connects, and it does so much. Dalp is now in deep. Arthur Dent healing to try to save his life, but he's the first one to die. Malphite's the next one, and everybody is fighting still. Happy Cloud is going to follow him, and it looks like Dalps should be able to pull out this fight right here, though a lot of damage. A nice exhaust from Biz is going to keep him alive for another second. Oh, the dragon does go over to the side of Dalps. Here's Titan using that ultimate we talked about. Now waiting for that extra auto. He doesn't get it. A nice move from almost a dozen keeps him alive, and Vizzy's there to sweep up the kill and save his friend's life. Great play there from Dalps, and the gold's now dead even.
Very well done from Dalp's Deputies. We talked about it, but they recognized that Set was on their flank. They were ready for it. I want to give credit to Arthur Dent with the incredible ult, but Happy Cloud was not able to follow up with an E that would have stunned them all and led up to more. So I think overall, both teams played that incredibly well, but everyone in Delta did their job. Almost a dozen was able to get the stun on the Titan, prevent him from getting the kill out of the ultimate. As Delta peels off, the Baron here recognizing they don't have control of the pit. But I think just very well done.
Didn't grab that Lucian. I'll try to just poke a couple people down. Arthur Dent taking a lot of damage again. There's the ultimate. He will go down this time. He gets caught out. Now the side of Blue Eaters are in trouble. Rescue does have that black shield on them. He's going to pop the ultimate and does die to almost a dozen. This should mean that Baron is free, as 2 have now fallen to the side of Blue Eaters.
Yeah, unfortunately that black shield was just a little too late for Rescue. Not able to save them from the slow, and that slow would ultimately...
Oh, but Happy Cloud wants to go in. They're looking to actually engage, or at least bother them while they're on this. Titan's in a very risky position. Doesn't have ultimate for a few more seconds, has no flash, and he is going to die. Happy Cloud now is against a whole world as he's going to use the ultimate to try to escape. No CC connects onto him.
Now, I don't know if Happy Cloud was, able to see amongst that club of Delta deputies, but very good on him to grab the Rakan and know that the Rakan would not have the pressure that they should stay right on top of him.
Oh, there's the ultimate Swift Raider going in on N7, who really can't fight back in any manner. He's going to pick him up. Happy Cloud has a giant haymaker, but it's not going to be enough because he will die to Vizzy in the end. Oh, there's a stopwatch, keep him alive for a second, but it means nothing as X-Ranger, or rather Swift Ranger picks up that kill. Arthur Dent trolling. Does go down in the end. Vizzy gets another one. He must have been tunnel visioned on that Baron, staring right at it as he's picked up. The blue team slays Baron. Nashor now has the buff. This is looking like it's Dalp's game now.
Yeah, so let's go over the past couple minutes, right? Because what I want to point out is that maybe I'm wrong, but if I'm correct, I believe the game maybe 3 minutes ago was 16 to 15, and now it is 27 to 16, which means that the side of Delta Deputies has gotten 11 kills to Blue Eaters 1. And the reason why, there's no singular reason, but between that fight at Dragon and the fight at Baron, the side of Blue Eaters has shown rather directly that they're rather interested in neutral objectives. They want to make sure they get these. They deny these resources to the side of Delta deputies, and they're able to secure that more late game, side of team fight that they have over Delta deputies. But between these couple fights, they're just able to
Catch out people like this. They burn the ultimate of Titan right here to save Arthur Dent, who does get a little bit of that healing down, but so much damage out from Vizzy. He's going to pick up the kill onto Rescued, who does not get rescued. It does go down as they're looking to knock down that mid lane tower right now. I think this should be Dalps being able to push all the way in and winning. You've got a lot of time on Rescue before they're able to come up. You've got the Baron and more dragons on the side of Dalps. They're pushing into this mid lane tower right now. They're trying to wrap around here. Look for the flank. Here comes Sat, here comes Arthur. They're going to go all the way in and a nice stun. Oh my goodness, it's so much going on. One kill is going to go over to the side of Arthur Dent. He picks up Lucian. They're looking for Eddie Chan next, but he's got a lot of damage coming on to Arthur Dent. He's going to be the first one to fall for the side of Blue Eaters. The rest are still fighting. Almost a dozen does go down as well. Happy Cloud now trying to stay alive for as long as he can, but he has no haymaker to save his life. And it looks like these three will march right in and try to take these Nexus Towers. Two are alive for the side of Blue Eaters. Can they hang on to this game? I think N7 and Rescued are begging for help, and they're not going to get any of it. I think this game is going to go to the side of Dalps Deputies for game one.
Yeah, and I think, an incredible job from Dalps Deputies just pushing the lead. They have not had this lead for a long time, but, as soon as they got it, they recognized it. They came down this mid lane, forced Blue Eaters in that poor position, and they were just able to march straight into the Nexus after this team fight and take the game.
It was a pretty wild ride for them. Both teams, and this is what I talked about, even if it's a 2-0, you look at both of these games, right? That first game was incredibly close. It came down to basically late game team fight and positioning. Whoever gets caught out basically loses. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see Game 2, even though I'm all pumped for it, because we're going to move over to Naughty Boys versus Vendetta. Glacial Vendetta is playing against Naughty Boys in the other semifinals that is happening at the same exact time as this series. So they're starting a little bit later. I'm trying to connect to that game, although my League client is being a little glitchy. I will have to reload into League, and then I'll join. Guys, we're going to switch on over. In the meantime, it takes two to tango, so if you need to go do that, go do that. Go tango a little bit, because we're going to be right back in just a few seconds once my League can load back up, and we can jump on into game number 1 of Naughty Boys versus Glacial Vendetta. Guys, we're back, and we have got the draft about to start. Guys, if you feel like you want to start draft, you can start. You can start. We are. We're going to switch on over to the screen right now so you guys can see it. They're going to begin draft any moment. Naughty Boys are on the red side this game, and we're looking at Vendetta on the blue. I know up top it's going to have a little bit of different letters and numbers going on. Feel free to ignore those for the time being. Let's see what they say to me. Buggleberry Finn. Okay, guys. I'm here. I'm here, man. I'm ready. Naughty Boys, undefeated in the regular season. Glacial Vendetta going through some roster changes, as we normally see big organizations have to, whether they're adapting or signing new people to the team. Things are always going on, always keeping them fresh. So Naughty Boys probably have not faced Glacial Vendetta, especially not this specific Glacial Vendetta, as we're going to load into Champ Select, and it looks like the first ban is going to be Vendetta's. They've got 28 seconds to select their ban. It's going to be the Syndra taken away from Zelius here in the mid lane. Naughty Boys are choosing to respond soon with the Graves, it seems. They're hovering it, at least for now. Undecided, though. It looks like they are going to continue to hover that Graves, or maybe they're talking about other bans they want to do, possible picks with this Syndra taken away. They're going to take away that Graves. Shannon's going to be the next ban that's taken away from Yorikun. Wukong is the response ban here. Again, they decide to hover it for a little bit. They decide to ban it, and it looks like Vendetta has done their homework, because the Bard is taken away from Quaz, who, and I know I talked about Arthur Dent possibly being the best player in the league, but Quaz really is something special. I've seen him literally on many streams of professional players. This guy's a really, really good, talented man. He's got really great sense of micro and macro. Itemization, always in his build, is always meta, always top tier. Zoe's going to be the last champion taken away here, as Lilia is locked in first for Glacial Vendetta. Ornn, gave me the pickup here for Yorikun up there in the top lane. He's back on that tank duty. You can take away Shen, but you can't take away every tank in the game. They're going to lock that up pretty quickly. And they're going to look for something else juicy. You don't want to give away too much of your ideal team comp early on. Elise is going to be locked up. We're going to see another Elise game here. This time it's going to be on the red side. So Naughty Boys are going to pick that up for Julie. Julie, another absolutely phenomenal player, one of the best in the biz, especially the LB LCS. Guys, if you've never seen this league before, if you want to be part of an organized league where we stream you, feel free to go on down, join our Discord there at the bottom, and play some games. Have us stream you, have us cast you. Feel that glory of a free league with absolutely no winnings other than, bragging rights. Lucian locked in for the side of Glacial Vendetta. They're looking for their third pick and final of the first round of draft.
Now, there is something I have to say, which is that you're going to have to help me out here because the lobby's currently full and I can't get in.
I will help you out in a moment. I'll make sure that you're able to get in. Let me tell you about the draft that's going on if you can't see it on the stream. Maybe you're just a couple seconds behind because of that. Cho'Gath, Lucian, and Lilia have all been locked in by Glacial Vendetta. On the Naughty Boys, they've locked in Ornn, Elise, and they're currently hovering Misfortune. They decide to lock that in. Now they're moving over to the ban phase, the second ban phase, so I think most teams pretty much getting an idea of what they want. Naughty Boys deciding to continue to play that pre-team fight heavy. Glacial Vendetta, always a surprise because they have so many different players. It's hard to keep track of them all. Nautilus going to be banned out for quads. They're really targeting this bot lane support here. Don't want Quad as a great player to be on what he does like. I believe PP Bears also changed his name. So whatever the ridiculous name is that he has now, I think actually is him. If you're familiar with PP Bears, you've seen him play before. He's a really good player. Jin.
Yeah, and I gotta say, so, I mean, here are my first thoughts on the draft, right? I don't know too much about the picks of either of these teams. But, completely based off my own experience, I really like the Lilia pick. I think Lilia's really good. I think Elise is a great pick into her. So, credit to Naughty Boys for that one. Same thing I said last game where I think Elise is a great early pick into Kindred in terms of, being able to deny her early, but then we didn't really see the Elise do it. But, I mean, you get that range CC. Lily's really, not that great into hard CC. With that said, I think Lilia has a lot of game potential. And I think it allows for a lot of plays, so we'll see which jungler is able to capitalize on those different strengths better.
Corki is locked in for the side of Naughty Boys. That's likely going to the mid lane. Zelly is there, as the only thing Naughty Boys haven't selected is the support. They're going to give full counter to Quaz, a really phenomenal player. Thresh is going to be locked in for Glacial Vendetta, which is a really safe pick if you know support's going to be countered, because Thresh you can play him so many different styles, right? You can play super utility heavy, you can play very aggressive, you can play super passive with your Flay, however you want to do it. It gives you versatility, and Samira is going to be locked in for Glacial Vendetta. This is something I've been dying to see in the CEO League, because this champion is 100% a champion that can pop off. We've had people go 18-0 here in the LBLCS on Samira. Alistar is going to be what they lock in here in the end for Naughty Boys. So we're going to swap on over to our pregame screen. And I got to get you in. Hang on.
Yep.
Getting no name, please. Quaz jump down as he does. You jump on down, Quaz can jump back on up, and we should be all set to go in just a moment here. Alistar is a decent pick.
I want to hear your thoughts on it.
I think Alistar is a really phenomenal support. I think one of the reasons they held it for last as well is because if you pick Alistar early, it's super easy to counter and to abuse, to have some long-range stuff in the bot lane. Very good when you can actually get into the fight, when you can actually affect things. Probably one of the better supports if you're looking at just straight CC time for the enemy. Not only can you dive and tank for an incredibly long amount of time with your R, it also acts as a cleanse, so you can hit R after you get CC'd and continue to fight. You have every single one of your abilities is a hard CC move, with the exception of your R, which cleanses it. So if you're thinking about, okay, this person understands how to team fight, they understand a lot of micro, macro team fighting, you give that person Alistar, they can really dictate how the fights go, who to target. I'm expecting that person is talking more in team fights, telling you what's going on. It also provides engage and peel, so I think it's a really good pick as long as it doesn't get squashed in lane.
Yeah, I mean, so my personal thoughts on Alistar are that, he's not too much of a playmaker. He can definitely make plays, but he's very limited by range. and it can kind of be a pain. I think Thresh is one of those champions that you kind of have that strength into where it limits his ability if he lands a Q on you to really go in because you have that immediate pulverized response.
Mhm.
Um, but I don't know. I mean, frankly, I really have not seen Alistar that much, in the high level stages of League of Legends for a long time. So I don't know how to value it as a pick. 'Cause I think that's one of the things that a lot of people don't realize about professional and other levels of League of Legends, where even when champions don't get played, their win rate's still usually somewhere between 47 and 49%. And so they really can be utilized effectively. So what do you think Kaz has to do here to make that happen?
So, he has to understand what his team wants to do because the setup of Alistar into Ornn can be huge. Alistar also provides a lot of safety within themselves to not get picked when warding, and we know Quaz normally likes that bard. We see it banned away by Glacial Vendetta. He likes to be able to roam, get good wards down, and set up plays through that extra vision that he does create for his team. So, I think what he's looking for is, okay, what's our target? I have a point-and-click double CC move into me being super tanky. How do we flesh this out? Are we diving straight up onto Skifter here in the mid lane? Are we looking to eliminate Muzzle, get them away from the team fight? How can I help out the team in the best way possible? Alistar also, because of their innate tankiness with their ultimate, right, can itemize really effectively for the team. You can get things like Locket, like Redemption, and it doesn't really reduce your ability to do things that much. And I think that fact of Alistar is really, really helpful come mid-late game when you're fighting over objectives. Your red side, I think they should get most of every dragon as long as Elise doesn't fall behind with Alistar on their team.
Sure. Now, there are a couple thoughts I have, and you can disagree with me on them if you think differently. But I'm a little concerned for Naughty Boy's late game damage, where I mean, so Corky's able to deal out a lot of damage between, like, his ults for poke, up close, he's crits, he just does a lot of damage in general. But I think, if they can't land a solid Misfortune ultimate in combo with the Orin, they're going to have trouble laying down some late game damage between just Corky and Misfortune. And additionally, I think that Samira, it's going to be a little hard for her to get in between the Alistar and the Ornn. But so long as she recognizes if the Alistar is forced to make the engage and she can get past onto the backline and get a large ultimate, that would be pretty huge. So I don't exactly know. I don't know what's going to happen in late game team fights between these two teams. But
Well,
I want to hear what you think.
I think a lot of different thoughts. And I think thoughts pretty much all day and all night. There's no stopping it. I think Samira Lucian is a nuts amount of damage. I think if they get to late game, this game can really be over. That one thing that is stopping me from thinking that is that Corky Ornn, if you set it up right, Corky can straight up carry late game if you're not able to pick him off. Samira has a really good ability to basically dodge a lot of Misfortune damage, to basically block with her W. She can block Elise's web stun when she's in human form. So there are abilities that can really negate what Naughty Boys want to do. However, Cho'Gath is not a split pusher who can really abuse you. So I think when you come together 5v5, as long as Naughty Boys understand their targets and they're making their callouts, and with how good we know they are, they should be able to take this game with what they've built around. They're building around playing around dragons. They have Elise, good pressure early jungler. Once you get the first two dragons, it's a lot easier to get the third and fourth. So they're going to be playing, I think, heavy around mid and bot. They're going to look for those early scuttles, look for those early plays. If Samira or Lucian get ahead, they know that's the target because there's two big carries, and everyone knows it takes two to tango. Be right back.
That's true. So, another thing that I kind of want to point out about these two teams here is that Alistar and Ornn presents a really strong front line. Alistar just straight up has an ultimate that says he takes like 70% less damage, which is wild. Ornn, as we all know, he's one of the tankiest champions in the game. He has a different level of tank privilege in the fact that he's just able to gain, 40 armor and MR when he hits level, I think it's 14. I don't know. They keep patching it. But with that said, I think Lilia poses a huge problem to that as their front line, simply because she's able to get that max health burn from her passive. That max health burn from her passive also applies Leandry's. That's able to do more max health burn, and it's just really bad. I think Alistar is the best frontline you could possibly pick into Lilia, just because Lilia has to get pretty close to apply her abilities. And Alistar has lots of hard CC that can just immediately shut down, a Lilia like that. So it's a bit of a give and take. But between having that burn, between just the raw front line of a Cho'Gath that's just on such a different level, having 5,000 AP in the late game, um, and between the damage we talked about earlier with the Lucian and the Samira, I think that there's a lot of things going for the side of not the Naughty Boys Vendetta, Glacial Vendetta. That's who it is. So we'll have to wait and see. Either way, great drafts from both teams. Second game we've seen, at least. I'm very excited to see how this goes. I think, my prediction is that we're going to see a lot of early game plays. And that'll make a huge difference into who has the lead going into mid game.
Hold up.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I was just saying, I think we're going to see a lot of early game plays from these teams. And whoever's able to take those is going to really be able to take it in the mid game. I think, based off of comp, we should see the side of Glacial Vendetta lose out on those, early game fights. But if they're able to even go even on them, if they're able to take, some of them to their own advantage, that'd be pretty huge given their comp.
I went to the restroom and I grabbed another ice cold coriander for myself, and I have a couple things I want to say. And thing one is that I think Samira is nuts. I think Samira, if you get ahead, is just straight nuts. So if this Samira player is a top-notch Samira player, I think Glacial Vendetta can 100% take game one. And I think when we look at the regular season, everyone's just expecting, and I think from my own biased caster opinion, I was expecting Naughty Boys to basically take this game without a lot of worries, and then pretty much rely on the side of Glacial Vendetta to have a good comeback to basically go, okay, here's how they like to play. But while I was urinating, I was thinking, hold up. Samira Lucian are nuts. They're so slippery. They're really hard to get a hold of. If they can dodge this orange stuff, only one gets caught by Quaz here. We can see different stuff. I've also seen Pistachio play before. Dude's really good. The dude can definitely flay mid-Alistar W, and we can see some really good stuff out of Glacial Vendetta. So I think this game is super up in the air, and it's, as you were saying, it's dependent on those early game plays. Who gets a lead and who can hang on to it?
Now, maybe it's just me, but as we see Alistar's model bug out on this misfortune. Okay, just making sure. Some things I want to mention are that, I think one of the things I said to you while you were gone is that the front line of Orin and Alistar is, Samir and Lucian don't do too much damage to that, but the Lilia can melt those in a way that other champions just can't. And that's, to the advantage of Glacial Vendetta, but at the same time, I think Volibear, I don't know why I said Volibear. Alistar is one of the best tanks that you can have into Lilia because her operative range is so short, and Alistar has access to CC within that range that it's going to, it's going to be a game of what can Lilia get off without get away with without getting caught.
I think another thing we really have to consider, and maybe you're going to disagree with me on this, but I think Naughty Boys have more animals. I think that already gives them a massive advantage. You've got a spider inside of Elise.
That's true.
Alistar's a cow. You've got some humans. And then you've got, is he a goat or a ram? Like, that's what Orin is, right? That's more animals. Although, Lilia, you could make an argument, is a few animals.
I mean, he does ram things. That's what his E does. I think that makes him
I'm going to go with ram as well.
Yeah. But the other thing I was going to say, and I think last game proved me wrong on this point horribly, but I'm going to stick with it, which is that Elise, more than any other jungler, is a ticking time bomb. And I think that is the thing that scares me the most about Naughty Boy's comp, which is that Elise only stays relevant for so long, and she often needs kills to remain relevant. Until, if she can't do that, late game, she just becomes a cocoon bot.
Right, but that's not that terrible thing, because when you look at the carries, Zelius, right, he needs time to get big on that Corki. Corki early game is kind of just an annoying little caster minion. He doesn't do too much. Once you get that Trinity Force, once you're able to itemize and get a little bit bigger, now you're a threat. So Elise is like the same kind of thing you put Lee Sin in, right? You put them into this little bit of a, hey, we need that insurance to get through mid-game because you're powerful and you're kind of start to fall down after level 9. We need you to provide us support when we're not that strong yet. So I think that Julie is an incredibly smart player, knows what they're doing, and is going to make good progressive plays to basically accelerate the clock for champions like Corki. So that's the job they're doing, and we see him right now actually going to that bot lane. But speaking of ganks, there's one in the top lane right now. Yorkon is going to be able to get that E off, but he's taking so much magic damage from the side. He's going to have to burn his flash. Pistachio getting bashed around. He's going to hit that death sentence onto Quads, but he should go down in the end. They're trying to give the kill over to Magnum Zong, and they do. That's the first blood. Julie's probably saving that E, waiting for a minute to use it. Samir is unable to pick up any type of kill, and Yorkon got out in the top lane.
Yeah. So, overall, that was pretty big for the side of Naughty Boys.
Zelius might go down. That Ignite's not going to be enough, though. He's got the Corrupting Pot ticking.
Yeah. Alright, we'll see if the game is willing to give me a second without a fight. But I'm not sure it is.
Chat, also, I want to tell you, so I can interrupt you more than the game does. Chat confirmed Ornn is a ram god. So that's another animal, so this game might be closer than I thought.
Yeah, that does mean that we were both correct, though. He is a ram.
Also, Skin Game stops here.
It is proof that we're the best casters in NA. But, that aside.
It's proof. Undeniable.
Yeah. Kind of unfortunate for Pistachio. We didn't really get to see that fight, but he did get caught on the wrong side. Really good for Naughty Boys overall, between the fact that Yorkon's able to live. They know the Lily is on the top side.
Cho'Gath just baited by taking an extra tower shot to make Yorkon stay, thinking, okay, he's fine, but Lilia's around there. He does see that. They're going to ping it out right now. She's going to leave.
Yeah. With that said, Naughty Boys are put in the lead early, which I think is good for them, particularly given their comp. I think that Glypha is going to, their comp's going to have a lot of strength later, so this is pretty important. But we'll have to see where it goes from here. The goal is actually still in, well, it's even. Maybe ever so slightly, like a couple gold.
There's a couple of waves crashing, so I think it is actually realistically very even.
Yeah.
Right here, we're going to see top lane catch back up at least a little bit, 5 or 6 hopefully for him here. Bot lane able to catch up in a few CS as well. So, no massive lead really gained for the side despite that first blood. However, you do put a lot of gold onto MF. And now Samira, after their first back, has bought a call.
Yeah, and I do want to credit, I mean, if you just look at the CS scores, very nice from the side of Glacial Vendetta to just be able to keep the goal even despite that first blood. Abuse jungle, abuse top lane, I think that's a very important skill with Lilia to be able to just farm
now
and recognize that sometimes that's the more important thing because you're going to be doing a lot of damage.
Going over to the side of Naughty Boys here. They're going to lose a little bit of gold in the lanes because they missed some CS, but they do get that first Drake, and that's going to be very big because it does basically put them in a safer position come mid-game, and we know now that the sole Drake, the Drake that they will continue to spawn, will either be Infernal or Ocean, because Cloud is what's up right now. So that'll be very, very big for whoever is able to lock down that soul, if anyone does this game.
Yeah, and I agree.
Oh, here comes Julie from Bakugan. Been looking for the mid lane. Skipper dropping really, really low. It looks like he will go down. Julie from Bakugan just tanking that stuff's going to have to back away with the flash to stay alive. And both the junglers and the mid laners had to flash there. Zeus able to hang on to his. It looks like, it should be an eat right here. It should be a munch, and you're dead. But an ultimate here from Yorkon is not going to be enough to save his life. Dang, do him you. Going to pick up the kill.
Yeah, so a lot of things happen there. So let's break it down. First of all, incredible from Skip to survive with that much health. Good on Julie from Bakugan to be able to get out in time. I think top lane, that's a little bit of fortune for Yorkon that he went to use the ult, didn't come off in time. That said, I don't think he was going to be able to get out, even if he, was able to get it off. He would have had to walk away somehow avoid Cho'Gath's ult. But
that's pretty big for the side of Glacier Shadow. We talked about the fact
Here comes
that
here comes the Hex Flash. He's gonna go all the way in onto Samira, and Elisa's right here. They're gonna follow up the stun, and she is gonna be absolutely deleted. Although unfortunately, Quaz picks up the kill for himself.
And as I give credit to the side of Glacial Vendetta, Naughty Boys tells me to shut up, and that I'm a terrible caster.
Best caster in Ace though.
Yep.
You can still be terrible and be that.
And they're gonna take back a kill of their own, take the gold advantage back. I have a feeling this is gonna be a very close game. Neither team is going down without a fight.
No, and I think what we will see is one team start to run away with it come like 18, 20 minutes. A lot of damage coming out onto Muzzle right here. He's going to flash away instead of taking that Lancer, but now Pistachio has people locked up, and that's a flay backwards. Quaz will go down in the end. Magnum Song does have the flash, does have the heal. Might opt to use it as Yorkhunt's getting even lower. Dang Doom dropping him pretty dang low. Q does not connect. It looks like Magnum Zong had to blow both summoners to survive there. Ornn does not quite have his ultimate up yet, but a lot of CC! This might be enough to keep him alive! The Eat does come through, but here comes the last tower shot, and that's a shutdown gold here for Yorkhunt as he picks up a little bit of gold for himself. Julie's going to rotate to the bot lane to try to hold a little bit, soak up that XP. And a flash burn on Cho'Gath as well, so that's a win for Yorkhunt, I think. Although he does lose CS.
I think the LBLCS, despite our low budget, I think we need to start doing some math. As this pause comes through, which thank God, because the math that I think we need to do is we need to do the math on our games to figure out every time we stream what the ratio of color caster to shoutcaster is. Because sometimes there are games like last one where there's some pauses, there's time in between fights, there's time for analysis to figure out what's going on, and then there's ones like these where I just have to shut up for minutes at a time as fights happen
Well, you know what it
across
was?
the map.
I'll let you know what it was. Both of these teams probably watched the last stream and were like, you know what, this kid's got to shut up. Or let's just fight. They had a little chat before we got in the lobby, and they were like, let's just keep fighting.
Although we don't want to talk. He's a terrible voice.
Terrible voice.
We
Ugly.
your brother Larry.
Both are horribly ugly. That's why we don't see their cameras. The gold's very even. The game is very even. I'm very interested in who's able to get Herald, who's able to use it effectively. If Cho'Gath decides to teleport up or hangs on to it until the next dragon, that's 2 minutes from now, so it could be useful to do that. It will spawn at around 10:53. Corki has backed. Ooh, whoa, my camera's in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Corki has backed. Lucian has backed. They have very similar items. Corki's going to get another back in right now. He's sitting on 1,500 gold. Elise is sitting on 1,200. You got Lucian sitting on 1,300. I mean, this game can get really volatile. Corki finishes that Manamune right now.
Yeah, and there is something I want to mention about that fight up top lane, which is that Cho'Gath did burn his flash to try and get out of tower range, but was unable to. I'm actually surprised that he was even that close to the surprising. That looked disastrous for him until he was able to eat Ornn. But with that said, that gives Ornn the flash advantage, which means if Ornn's in another tough spot like that, he doesn't have to be as afraid. So I think he's been holding his flash in those past couple of fights because he knows that the Cho'Gath has his flash, and that a flash will only result in a flash.
A flash trade, right?
Yeah. But now he has.
Oh my God, Quad's gonna flash right on in. They're gonna knock Pistachio back. Magnum Zong trying to just finish him up, and he should be able to. Oh, the ultimate might pick him up. It doesn't quite. It's a lot of damage onto the bot lane of Glacial Vendetta, and they're gonna have to run for the hills as they only have one summoner left, and it's Samira's flash.
Yeah. So, very big for the side of Naughty Boys. Unfortunately, they weren't able to pick up that fresh kill. We do see that this dragon's coming up. They have Trio, they have advantage on health, similar mana. So I do expect that Naughty Boys is going to be able to maintain that for this dragon. Get control, be able to take it. Which, as we know, it's going to be Infernal Solar Ocean, so that's pretty big.
Yeah. Yeah, that 2-dragon lead. And this is what we talked about, the comp of... Oh, here comes the Hex Flash! He's going to knock him up in the air! Yes, he has Flash, but the Cocoon hits, and that's a kill onto Julie from Bakugan, and now this dragon should be all theirs. Corki is up and alive. He can get a little bit of prio mid, can rotate down into here. They can pull this dragon out into a safe area and pick it up. Pistachio's going to remain clear some wards, try to see if Lilia can maybe take the steal. It looks like Lilia's going to go to the top side and just ignore the fact that it's a possibility. As the top laner's playing top lane. And that's a pickup. And that's both Dragon. This is what we talked about. They took red side, right? They picked a comp that's really good for fighting around major objectives, major neutral objectives, that is. And they're capitalizing on the first two. And I think that this happening right now is massive for the side of Naughty Boys, and they shouldn't throw it here, although they obviously could. Zelius has to use that care package, can't make a play with it, has to use it to escape. Here comes the Hex Flash out of Alistar in the bot lane. He's going to opt not to use it aggressively. He goes backwards, and there's a gold lead for Glacial Vendetta, and I absolutely commend them because Lilia's been farming like crazy. They have a very good advantage in the top lane for farm as well. They've got some plate advantages basically all across the board except bot lane. So really good for Glacial Vendetta that they're able to stay ahead in gold while losing a little bit of these neutral objectives. So let's see if they can push that into actual item leads and then into team fight wins into the objectives that they need to be taking, because if you give up one more, I mean, Ocean Soul on Ornn Alistar is going to be hell.
Yeah. Now, I think, well, that's what I was actually about to ask you about, which is that I think Infernal Soul might have actually been a better option for the side of Naughty Boys here. I mean, it's all speculative now that we know it's Ocean Soul, but between Corki and MF, I think both of those benefit a lot from Infernal Soul. In a way that they might not be able to. You know, they're pretty squishy. They might get first down.
Oh, it's my person about Skifter getting hit a little bit right there. I will say that I think... Oh, a flash forward with the Cocoon. He's going to trade flashes for Lucian. A repeat of what we saw earlier with Lucian getting out with a sliver of life beforehand. I think that Ocean's better because it gives them more sustainability, because I think the damage and the ability to siege from Naughty Boys is really incredible. Quad's getting locked up. He's going to pop that ultimate, and they're going to do a lot of damage out of Pistachio, but here comes Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath can do a lot of damage, and he's looking to do it all over them as Samir is going to go in. What a hard champion to deal with. There's an ultimate from... Oh my god, MF hitting so many. Yorikon can protect his ADC, as now they're looking for a huge fight, and there's a lot of damage. Can Yorikon pick this up? He can't quite finish her off, and she picks up another kill. Samira's getting big. Oh, Glacial Vendetta makes the casters eat their words, as they're going to pick up a lot of kills in that fight and go by about 2K.
Yeah, and so, I mean, for one, there's not actually too many objectives on the map that, besides Glacial, is going to be able to take off of that, which is nice for the side of Naughty Boys. But with that said, I think that fight was kind of a long time coming, because one of the things about this game is that it's looked the whole time like Naughty Boys has had the playmaking advantage, right? They've been making the plays, they've been making things happen, even though kills were relatively even though they're down in farm, they were in charge of the pace of the game. But Glacial Vendetta had the farm advantage.
Right.
They had the gold advantage. And that fight was evidence of it. They were able to take their lead, they were able to push it, and now they have the kill lead. Now they have a 3K gold lead, after it was just even, which is huge.
Yeah, and they're able to capitalize on all those plays right before 14 minutes, so they basically cashed in their stocks right when it peaked.
Now, I do think the side of Naughty Boys is going to be able to get the first turret here, which is huge. Although, some pressure from Lilia is going to push them off, which is very big. Because that first tower build might have been able to even up that gold deficit a little. The bot lane on the side of Glacial Vendetta is going to be coming back anytime now. They're not going to be able to secure that. So very good there for Glacial Vendetta.
So,
you know,
we talked about the team fighting ability. Now we talked also about in the champ select that Quaz needs to know who his target is. And I think right now the target really has to be Samir, but they're both going to have to run away from this fight right here as MF makes it rain so they can escape. Cho'Gath is bottom, and they know that. They should know that he doesn't have teleport up because they used it pretty recently. Ornn can really whack away at this top tower, can maybe make a lease come, but look at the lit up jungle on the top side by Glacial. They have so much vision, they should know where he is all the time.
Yeah, and that's going to be huge for them, especially since Lilia is on the bot side and she's getting ready for the dragon. If they catch at least at all on that empty top side, they're going to know immediately. Yep, you can see the pings coming out.
They know the dragon's spawning in about 30 seconds, so it's going to be up around 16:05. Lilia's even looking for the bot lane gank, and this is when you need to do it. This is when you need to find a kill or at least a little bit of damage onto these guys, make them burn a summoner, because they're all going to be up for this fight coming up soon. Quad's trying to go forward. Maybe a little too overzealous. He's going to pop that ultimate in the flash to try to escape. The death sentence does hit. And the ultimate from MF is so much damage, but it's not going to burn enough people. Here comes Zelly. He's in the fight. They pick up 1 kill. That's Thresh going down. Now Elise is rotating over. It looks like Naughty Boys were full ready for that. They had a little bit of vision. They knew what was going to go down. We could see the ultimate from Lilia lock them up, but it doesn't. Yorkun's going to block away Cho'Gath, and looks like, this is just tanks fighting each other. It's hard to shoutcast. It's more of a whisper cast.
Yeah, it's more of a slow cast.
They're fighting. Here's another player. They're coming in. They're going to... Oh, and there's the ultimate from Yorkun. He doesn't get silenced. He does get the knockup, and they're able to kill Samir on the other side. But Ornn does go down in the end. It's now a 4v2 respectively in this fight. Oh my god, they're able to absolutely explode Julie from Bakugan. They want this dragon to reset. They know Corki's around the corner. Oh my god, MF gets knocked up. There's no flash coming out of her. She does make it rain, but can she take the pain? Azelia's going to pick up 1 kill. Muzzle getting low. Thresh has already respawned, and you know what? This dragon's going to go over to the side of Glacial.
Yeah, and Muscle was just able to make it happen. He's able to abuse that max health damage into the Ornn, take him out of the fight before he had to deal with that, massive CC on a team fight scale. He's able to land a very important trigger seed onto Elise and just take her out with some unexpected help from the dragon.
Yep.
And with that, the everyone in Glacial Vendetta is up from the first part of that fight where Naughty Boys was picking them to make sure they had Fry over the dragon. And the side of Naughty Boys has to peel, and they get the Glacial Vendetta gets the dragon. They're able to push them off, win the fight. It's very huge all around. Great play from Muscle there.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a lull in the game, but Julius Bakugan looking for a pick. You can just basically splash damage on a Cho'Gath. There's no way you're going to burst that absolute Titan. But, bot lane, looking for Vision War. Not too much to cast right now, as both junglers aren't doing too much, but they're making me eat my own words. And Alto is going to go all the way in. So much damage onto Samira. They're not able to get any more. They are able to burn that heal, which is super important, because they know Samira is a pretty big focus for them.
Yeah, and as we're speaking, the goal lead still remains with the side of Glacial Vendetta. It's about where it was a couple minutes ago. 3.5k. That fighting dragon helped them build it back up a little bit. We're kind of seeing a return to normalcy with lanes going back to where tops and top, bots and bot, etc. But we'll have to see.
Tower.
Yeah. So that's actually that's the first tower of the game, 18 minutes in. Usually it comes a little earlier between Rift Herald and some other things. That really hasn't been anyone's priority ever since the Ocean Soul revealed itself. Because that one's just so powerful that everyone immediately goes for it. But with that said, that's really big. I mean, that goal leader just talking about just shrank a good amount because, they don't have that same pro. I do think this tower in top lane is going to go down with Cho'Gath. But still, very nice that they were able to get the bot tower before that on the side of Naughty Boys. Now, I'm curious what happens next, because it doesn't seem like anyone's positioning for a fight. The junglers aren't setting themselves up for a game. Where do you think the next fight is?
There's a couple of different possibilities. Well, one is right here. They're able to get this pick and basically try to shove it down mid lane. They're going to force a fight right here for this mid lane tower. The other thing is that nothing's up for about 2 minutes. You have Baron spawning in 10 seconds. No one's going to burst it down with their comps right now that quickly. You're going to have some rotations of lanes. You see Corki go to the bot side. You see all the other 3 go to the mid as Ornn's taking the top side. You might see a push for that top side tower because it's so low, because it could be able to be knocked down. I think MF can basically clear this mid wave over and over and over again until they shove more people here. I would prioritize exactly what Quaz is doing. Get good vision in their blue side jungle. Make sure you know if they're going to rotate to the top side. Make sure you know where they are. You do spot out that Cho'Gath right now with that vision, or the Scrying Ward. And there's that second tower of the game. Magnum Zong alone in the mid lane now, though. They should know that. And they should be able to pressure him a little bit. Corki free farming the bot, though.
Yeah, and so, I mean, if I was Naughty Boys right now, I'd kind of be quaking my boots, because it's precisely the 2 members of Glacial Vendetta that I would not want to be fed who are fed. The Lilia and the Cho'Gath, the ones who can get on top. Well, I mean, the Cho'Gath who can get on top of the 80 carries and just wipe them from the map, and the Lilia who can just shred the tanks bit by bit. Slowly take them out of the fight more efficiently than any other damage carry could. Those two are horrifying to me. Now, I mean, of course, the Samira can deal a lot of damage, etc., etc. But that's just my personal take. I think that the gold distribution on the side of the Glacial Vendetta is very scary if you're a member of Naughty Boys right now, as we're leading up to this next dragon.
Yeah, this next dragon really should tell the game and how it should play out, because we're at that. We're almost at like late mid game here. Once we get to 25 minutes, 26 minutes, we're at late mid game, and we're almost at 22. This dragon's gonna be spawning right about at 22. So if Quaz or anyone gets caught, or if anyone can make a play, you're gonna see a lot. Corki has package, and that's something that you need to notice. Yes, Cho'Gath's annoying, he can poke a little bit, but if Corki gets a good package off, can basically burst anybody or disrupt the team fight in an effective manner, it'll be really positive for the side of Naughty Boys, as they're basically just going to use Corki to poke, although he does get hit. We know follow-up here from Glacial.
Yeah, and I think what you were saying is a really good point, which is that whichever team here, more specifically, they get to decide the tempo of this game.
Right. Yeah, and here's the all-in. This is going to be the fight breaking out right now. Quaz is going to knock down the backside. Oran's going to try to help out his carries, and they're able to pick up Lilia. That's pretty big shutdown goal. Now comes the Cho'Gath. That's even more, but the carries remain alive, and they're able to basically wipe the map. Corki is the last survivor from his team, and he is going to Zhonya's and slap it, but it eventually go down. 2 double kills there, and Glacial going to win that ace, and only 2 of them died. However, it was the shutdown gold champions.
Yeah, and so with that, we're going to see Glacial Vendetta pick up the second Ocean Drake, which puts them on pace with that of Naughty Boys. If Naughty Boys is able to secure that right there, they would have been at Soul Point, and it would have mandated the actions of Glacial Vendetta for practically the rest of the game, or at least until Soul was achieved. But with that said, they're in a much more comfortable position. Drags are even. They have a huge lead from getting a clean ace there. Very important.
Here's what I will say.
So,
I think it's important for Glacial Vendetta to push this lead, because you've got Ornn, you've got Corki. You've got these late game things that are going to basically... Like, Ornn late game just provides more than anyone else to a team. It gives everyone an extra item, it gives extra stats. No one else can do that. So, maybe with the exception of Victor, if you're thinking about it that way. But Ornn Corki late game can really make sure you shred. Obviously, if you fight the team fight right, it won't matter. But if you don't capitalize on this lead, unless you have Elder, you can still get wiped by Corki full build very quickly.
Yeah, I would like to point out, completely irrelevant to the game, that there's actually a bid war going on in chat right now.
Lucian did end up dying right there. That opens up that mid tower. Okay, so first mid tower is also super important because it basically shows who gets to show the warning. Oh, they're not going to go for it. They're going to go straight to Baron? This is nuts. This is a nuts play. It does actually go down.
It's a ballsy call from the side of Naughty Boys, but I really like it. I think they recognize they're behind.
Yeah.
And I think Baron would do a lot.
The Descendants connects onto the Baron itself. They're going to go in with the Ornn. It's going to knock up a lot of people. They're trying to keep that giant Cho'Gath off the side of the carries, and they're not able to fully do it. Magnum Zong still basically on the Baron itself. So many of blue go down. Glacial Vendetta die, and the Baron goes over to the side of Naughty Boys, who just played a crazy fight perfectly.
Yeah, and so I'm not going to say my thoughts on whether or not I think that was a good play. Frankly, I don't know. I don't know what the risk reward was exactly. I don't know.
They were basically tossing the game up in the air. They say, we trust our jungler to make the right plays, and we trust our tanks to make the right choices with who they CC and how we allocate damage. Magnum Zong remained on the Baron and used things like Make It Rain, the Q through the Baron to damage the other team. is very interesting in how they. I can't imagine the communication. And when we get to interviews, if we make it that far tonight, oh, Magnum's on. Go over the wall there. Interested what the communication was in that specific fight, because it was either super clean or they got lucky. The death sentence does not connect. Yorkhunt now out of position. Is going to use the E to try to escape a little bit, going to get blocked up and hit by this Skifter, trying to show that Corky is right there. They get a lot of damage on him. Remember the finish him off, but he doesn't. Pistachio looking for that death sentence. Will it connect? He won't even throw it.
Yeah, and overall that was huge for Naughty Boys. When the fight broke out around Baron, they nailed it. They interrupted the Samira ult. They forced Glacial to come to them in a way that didn't give Glacial the time to create a real, flawless front to back the way they probably would have wanted. And they were able to take that fight from a gold deficit. Even though they were able to pick someone before that Baron, that's still just huge. It completely changed the face of this game. They're now 1K in the lead. The gold differential has been going left and right during this game, but that's really big given their team comp, given what they can do with this Baron buff. So we'll just have to wait and see. The Dragon is coming up.
Yeah, and it looks like he's getting caught up. This is the strength of Alistar that I talked about. So hard to actually finish up, has so much CC, can really dictate a fight. And now Ornn is coming in. Oh, but that's Samira's W that can block the Ornn because it technically is a projectile. Just like Bard's E can, so can Samira's W. So can the wind wall of Yasuo. Is now they're putting attention towards Samira. Oh my god, she's getting absolutely chunked, and it's all over for her. Zelius solo kills her. Takes her out of the equation. They're looking for their third Drake of the game now. And right before they get it, I just want to say a quick thank you to Dalberino and King Coupees, who both recently followed our channel. Thank you guys. Welcome to the LBLCSs. Yorkhunt misses another skill shot with his E, but lands that little bit of a W, trying to scare him off here. Corky's just going to zone him. Lilia's trying to wrap around, maybe get some pressure in the mid lane, as well as the mid tower if they're able to. Zelius retreats back, trying to hold on to it. Now they have Baron, and the two bot laners are basically just jamming bot while the dragon is picked up by Julie. Oh my god, mid tower is going to get got, but only for the life of Skifter as Zelius picks up another kill. Yorkhunt is now all the way in. They're going to pick up Pistachio pretty easily right here. Bot lane is also in a fight. Can he do it? He cannot. Double kill here.
Yeah, and, now that Naughty Boys have been able to pull themselves ahead and get this lead, it's looking really dominant from them.
Yeah, oh, there's a little bit of a knockback right there. She's going to go all the way in. She's going to use her ultimate, but she will immediately get evaporated. Magnum Zong pretty freaking big with these double crit items, a quick silver sash, and the heal cutting on him. Corky's also pretty much full build. He's got the enhanced Trinity Force from the Ornn, and they're looking to knock down some inhibitor towers and inhibitors themselves right now, as they're sitting on 3 Drakes and a little bit of gold lead now, for really the first time in the game.
Just been a true lead, yeah. Yeah, and that's 2 inhibitors to the side.
Descendants connects onto Elise. Pistachio doesn't take it. Ornn's going to use this ultimate basically to ensure his team's escape. He gets slowed, but he probably won't get killed here, although the ultimate from Ornn's going to burst him a little bit. He's sidestepping half of it about. The Descendants connects, but he has a... Oh! I think Pistachio might have gone a little bit too deep as he gets burned immediately. Quas is going to basically CC shifted to his own death, and now all of a sudden Lilia's trying to hold on a really nice Q ultimate as she's going to use her Zonias, but go down in the end. And now it looks like Cho'Gath and Samira are just waiting for fate to take them to the grave. 4 members going to be spawning back in Fountain.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I don't know whether I compliment Yorkhunt or I just feel bad for Thresh there. With a great hook that gets cancelled by Thor's Unstoppable, and he just gets pulled right into the whole team.
This should be game 1 over to another Descendant's going to connect onto Quas, but he has his ultimate. This should be game 1 over to Naughty Boys. I think Yorkhunt played extremely well. He knew what his job was, and Naughty Boys are going to take game 1 in this semifinal series.
Yeah. I mean, great games from both teams.
I think that was a super close match. My biggest comment on it is that is the second game that I have insulted Elise for not having a great mid to late game. And that is the second time that Elise has turned on in the mid to late game.
I just want to talk about how Cho'Gath had the score of 666, and it's kind of worrying me.
Nah, that's definitely nothing. That's nothing.
Nothing. Ignore it. Okay, I'll ignore it.
Yeah, that's all in your head. That's definitely not a sign
A
that
lot
the
of
devil
gold
is
on
imitating
Skifter
you.
in there, right there. This is a best of 3 guys. Foul play 87, just so you know, going right on in. I wouldn't blame the Thresh at all. He had plenty of time to press that. Yeah, to not press Q again. I agree. I will also agree that I think it was a nuts play from Yorikon to time his W with that all going. I'm going to invite you into this game here on No Name. Make sure you accept before I jump down. Now we can jump down together. We'll probably dive right into the next draft right away, as they've been waiting for at least 3 minutes. We are on spectator delay in these games. X-Ranger, you're out of your game. Vizzy, you're out of your game. How did it go? Who won? How many games was it? Because I can't check right now. Guys, you want to see my? These are all the ones I could buy. I'm not gonna do that though. If you can see up top, I don't have the. Be right back. Water. Magnum Zong says. It looks like they're gonna swap sides this game, so I'll put that on into the. Into it down there. Are they swapping sides? Swapping sides? May I ask? Just confirming that they swapped sides, and they did. So I will now implement that into the standings themselves. Naughty Boys go up 1-0 in this series. Although Glacial looked really strong throughout that series there. They had a pretty substantial lead at one point, and they just lost one fight around that Baron that changed the tide of the game. Guys, this is going to be the second game here in this semifinal series. It seems like Dalps won their series, although I haven't had actual confirmation from anybody yet. So I am interested in who actually did end up winning. I will get this up on the stream in just a second. I'll say R in a second, Shifter. If you're listening along, or if anyone on your team is, know that I am drinking a lot of ice cold corianders and trying to move at the speed that you guys want to move at.
And I do want to. Yeah. I want to say about last game. Glacial and Vendetta. They did show that they can truly push a lead over the Naughty Boys. They weren't able to take that game. I think, after that fight, they were a little discombobulated. They weren't able to, re-cohese. I don't know, what's the word? They weren't able to gel together again after that the same way they had been for the rest of the game.
I'm going to go
But that's the thing. They showed they can do it. And that's what they need. Because if they can take that lead and they can make the plays they were making, that's all they need to be able to beat Naughty Boys. So going into this game too, we'll have to see if they're able to do that again.
Hey, I know the game cuts you off a lot, but I'm gonna cut you off. Can you type in that we're ready, so they know they can start?
Yep.
Say like, hey morons, we're really hot and ready, and they do start right now. Ready. Vendetta has readied up. Naughty Boys possibly are waiting for another person or whatever. Can you double check? I think there were no changes to any team. Because subs are allowed in this league. So game 1, whether you won or lost, you can absolutely make unlimited number of subs so long as your roster is within the rules of the league. And it's a 12-player max here in the CEO league. So I think it's the same exact 10 playing this game, though.
It is. It is.
How are you changing draft? It looks like Naughty Boys. Normally the team that wins doesn't change draft.
Yeah. Now, we see a Graves Syndrome band coming out. I actually did not catch the pick bands last game because I believe I was not in the lobby at the time because of technical difficulties.
So far, the bands are exact same.
Okay.
From both sides here. Now, the third band is going to be Echo. That's going to be different if it's locked in, and it is locked in. And Bard is locked in, so Vendetta banned the same 3 champions. Naughty Boys opting for the Echo this time instead of the Zoe, which is what they went for last game.
Interesting.
Now, they could take Lilia here. However, they're going to take Ornn again. They're going to give
Okay.
Yorick Ornn. They're going to say, hey, really hard to counter this. We can definitely pick this early. It's safe enough. It gives us the late game insurance of the extra items, which we used last game really, really well. What can we do? If Lilia is taken again, I would not be surprised from the side of Vendetta. I mean, their jungler popped off on Lilia. Really solid performance. They couldn't come together as a team like you were saying, fast enough or efficient enough to take this. Hecarim is going to be locked in instead. See what else gets locked in by Vendetta here in the early stages of draft. Try not to show too much. Usually you see like anything but mid shown early on red side. Usually you hold that last pick for top or mid here.
Yeah. Now, I think I really like the Hecarim pick. I mean, we saw them on Lilia. The champs are definitely different. But I mean, the Q's a big spinny move, so in the end, what's the difference?
I was gonna say they also have 4 legs, like they're just running around with
That's
a human
true.
top.
They do have 4 legs. You're
Very
right.
similar
That's significantly
champions
more important.
in theme.
Now, with that said, I think that we saw the bands; they're mostly the same. That kind of makes sense with me. I feel like both teams felt on top of that game, were I to guess, because Glacial had a lead for so long, and Naughty Boys were able to take the game in the end. So the fact they felt confident with their bands makes sense. We
Evelynn
are going to see
too.
the Evelynn come out, which
And Caitlyn
I think
following right
Evelynn's
back
pretty
up.
hype.
If this is locked up, this is going to be a pretty nuts comp here from the side of Naughty Boys, something we don't normally see out of them. This actually looks like a very aggressive comp with the Ornn picked up. So Evelynn is really, really hard to keep track of after 6. You really need to ward specific camps to know where they are because it's so difficult to catch them on normal wards. Obviously, if you're control warding everywhere, it's a little bit different. Bot lane has not been fully shown, but it could be fully shown by Vendetta in just a moment. I'm expecting it to be after at least the bans. I doubt you hold ADC till last pick here. Likely your mid or top. Jin's going to be locked in here. So you're probably going to see mid or top bans from both sides. I'd expect Corki probably taken away here from Vendetta. I did get a message on League. I don't know if it was in the chat, if it's something relevant. Like this wasn't Jin, it was actually X.
No, it does not seem so. I think at most it means that the game will be delayed a little because it looks like Dangdoy disconnected.
Okay, someone disconnected, so it'll be a little bit of a delay here. Nautilus and Zoe taken away. Those were both bans in the last game that we did see. Leona's going to be banned as well. They really don't want Quaz with the ability to play make, and they could be forcing him back onto this Alistar, and they've already selected Thresh. So we'll see what he does decide to go with. Now you have an Evelynn Ornn. You have people that can start fights and CC things and get out pretty safely. So it's going to be interesting in what this last ban. I'm expecting another mid lane ban if they're going to give this much safety here to Zelius. It's going to be actually Fiora in the top lane, so he can't burst down this Ornn.
I do like the Camille ban instead of the Fiora ban. I'm not sure which is better, just because I don't know the preferences of Vendetta's top
I think
lane.
Camille is a better ban than Fiora.
Okay.
Unless the player's nuts on Fiora and like that's necessarily one trick, but like is much more proficient on it. I think Camille's affects a team fight more with what she can do. She also has the ability to go like invulnerable for a second with her ultimate, lock somebody down like an ADC and push all the enemies out. So you can definitely single target things. As Vendetta's going to lock in Mordekaiser in the last moment against this Ornn, that's a pretty decent matchup for Mord until Ornn gets a couple items. So
Well, I do also think the Camille ban depends a bit on what Naughty Boys is trying to do. Because I don't think, I mean, the Evelynn and the Caitlyn can be soloed out by the Camille ult, but I don't think either are particularly weak to it. So maybe they're trying to.
hovers the Blitzcrank. They're going to go back to the Rakan now. What will they finish on? They're going to go back to the Blitzcrank again. He says he wants it, and they're going to hand it over to him. Quaz's Blitzcrank's pretty nuts, so Jin, be careful, big dog.
Now, I'm a little intrigued by the Blitzcrank. I mean, first of all, Blitzcrank is awesome. Who doesn't want a Blitzcrank in a game that we're going to be spectating? Because the hooks just make it so much more interesting. But Thresh is one of those champions that just, has the lantern.
Yeah.
Which makes the hook a lot less viable. So I'm a little intrigued with picking that into Thresh. I'm still very excited to see it.
Well, there's
because
few
Blitzcrank's just a
targets,
hype
right?
champ.
Pulling Mordekaiser in could be good early game, but late game it might not be. Hecarim can't always be good, right? Depends on how they build, how much gold they have in the early game there, because you can always ult out or ult in and continue the fight from there. Jin is obviously your big pick that you want to grab. If they pick a squishy mid laner, Fizz is pretty slippery, really hard to grab him. He's also one of the biggest counters into somebody like TF. I'm glad he went TF. I think it's a better pick for his team. But again, we see a composition that has very little AD damage on the side of Naughty Boys. And I don't know if it's going to matter that much, but it's going to at least matter a little bit here as we're going to move over to the pick and ban phase in the actual game itself now.
Yeah, and I want to say I really like the Naughty Boys comp. It's not something that I see too often, but I do like the Twisted Fate Evelyn combo. It allows you to pull some tricky 3-man ganks that were just totally, they'll show up in like 3 seconds flat between the Twisted Fate ult and the Evelyn invisibility. But I mean, Fizz is just terrible for a TF player. He can deny your stun card. He can, which denies practically all of your damage because you need your opponent to be still to land a lot of it. It's the side of Vendetta can also, Mordekaiser into Ornn. Hecarim just in general on this patch. There's a lot of things that are going against the comp of Naughty Boys.
Yeah, no, I'm going to agree with a lot of what you're saying. I'm going to say that also, as a big boy Blitzcrank, level 7, Mastery, Hardcore, Cheeser, I'm going to say, 1, Blitzcrank provides a lot of options in the very early game with roaming. 2, there's multiple ways to play Blitzcrank, and Quaz is a pretty crafty player. We saw him last game set up a lot of stuff with that Alistar, played incredibly well, and basically set up a lot of team fights for them to win. He can understand, okay, my job come mid-late game isn't to pull somebody in, it's to pull somebody off. To reposition the team fight so that my carries are safe, so they can go and win this fight. Now, I do think it's not a great pick into something like Mord or Hecarim. I think that it's difficult for him to actually achieve what he wants to do because there's not too many options for him to take in. Right? Jin's the best, but if he can't get that, he can't get that. So, I think that it's an uphill battle for Naughty Boys, like you're saying, but I'm not ever counting them out. I mean, this is the team that we're expecting to win this series. They won the regular league. They did not even drop a game in the regular league at all. So, assuming that they're going to lose just because of a draft, I think is a little bit naive. Although I do personally, if I knew nothing about any player, prefer the draft of Glacial Vendetta.
Well, I don't think that Naughty Boys is destined to lose just because of their draft. And I do think that a really important fact of their draft is that they are set up to be the playmakers. They are set up to determine the pace of this game from like level 6 to 11. Pretty hard. Between Alan and Twisted Fate, there's just so much stuff they can set up that will allow them to make plays. And if they can make those plays efficiently, that allowing them to capitalize off it, then that's huge. That's what they need to do, I think. But otherwise, I mean, I think that the outside of that, the comp of Glacial Vendetta is very strong in what they're doing. As we get another delay, which gives us more time to talk about this comp. Yes, I love talking about these comps. So, with that said, I like both drafts. I really want to see the Blitzcrank pop off on a personal level.
I think I want to see any amount of early pre-6 roaming, right? Like, when you play Blitzcrank, your expectation, if you're lower elo, is like, oh, they're going to invade us. Your expectation at a little bit of higher elo is, oh, they're going to impact early game pretty heavily. And your expectation at the highest elo is, hey, this person's going to have a really great silence. They're going to know who to knock up, who to pull off, how to position in the late game, what kind of runes they're running. All of this changes based on your composition and the enemy's composition. So when you look at like professional games that are played, Blitzcrank is used in all three ways. And I think that's the biggest difference is, okay, Quaz is we talk about Quaz being one of the best players in LBLCS. Not just this year, but every single season we've played. He's one of the best players. He's now playing a champion that is, if you looked at this matchup, you wouldn't think is like, okay, this champion's perfect in this matchup. You would think this champion is having to have a hard time. So how can he... Oh my god, I'm glitched. Do you see the same things I'm saying?
I see the same thing you do, I think.
God damn it, League of Legends.
It's really funny, too, because they're just going to lock in those champions.
It is funny. It won't even look different. I just think that, like, is something to watch. I think that's an interesting thing to watch. I don't think it's the main, most important thing to watch, but I think that in terms of how you're viewing the game, how you're spectating, it is really one of the most interesting because it's hit or miss, really, with Blitzcrank.
Yeah. And so here's what I want to ask you, which is uh, how does Naughty Boys stop this heckler at all stages of the game? Like, how do they stop him from getting gnarly ganks early? How do they stop him from running down their carries mid and late? Like, what do you think they're? How do they play around pressure from the jungle in this
Here's what I
game?
will say. Last game, we saw the jungler of Glacial Vendetta. We saw this muscle dude do incredibly good work. He went 404 to start on this Lilia. He he farmed like 30 CS above Julie, but come team fights, it didn't impact them the same. So when you're looking at somebody now who has a little bit easier of an ultimate to hit to impact the team fights, right? You have to start anticipating, okay, if they're going to get this early farm lead, if they're going to have the ability to do this kind of stuff, obviously Julie's on a different champion this game, but Hecarim can get those early ganks in, get some kills, which Lilia wasn't really doing last game. He was really showing up to like 3v3s and cleaning up really well, like shredding those tanks. How can you mitigate that damage and play across the map? Because I don't think you want to play Evelynn into Hecarim pre-6. I think Hecarim's burst with the E, with the QW, can really kind of crush Evelynn's squishiness along with the squishiness that you're getting from the bot lane. However, I'm scared more about the mid lane than I am about Hecarim in the jungle. Zelius is a great player. He's been here since Season 1. But he's in an absolute counter matchup. He needs to know exactly how to, okay, I'm pushed up. Yes, I have a lead. Yes, I can freeze this wave. But I am in a position where I don't have vision. Is it safe to be here? Because if you go down early against Mord Heck Fizz, it's going to be a long climb back up.
Yeah. And definitely agree. This is a rough spot, just like from start to finish for Zelius. He has to be on point with his cards. He has to be ready for what's being thrown at him. He's pretty vulnerable to Hecarim ganks. If he has to blow his flash early, he'll probably be in a tough spot. But he can do it, I think, and we'll have to see if he's able to, because I think he had a strong showing on that Corki last game. He's had a strong showing with a long record in the LBLCS. So we'll have to see if he's able to respond to this fifth properly.
Yeah, and he's going to lock up exactly what we know is already coming because we've seen the draft. I will also say, what you mentioned earlier in the draft, Thresh is a really, really good pick. It's good for immobile carries like Jhin, because it has that lantern, it gives that extra bit of utility, it has double CC, it has honestly decent damage in the terms of burst, and even sustained because you're collecting those souls because your E is slapping away with that passive that it gives you. But, Evelynn, Ornn, Blitzcrank, Twisted Fate, even Caitlyn, all of them have solid CC. And I think when I'm really reviewing this composition, I'm thinking about, okay, how does this work here in the bot lane? If Thresh hits, if Blitzcrank hits, rather, for the side of Naughty Boys, you're locked down. You're done. WEQ basically will finish you from the side of Caitlyn if you get pulled in and knocked up by Blitzcrank. So you're looking at what is a very volatile matchup. It's either going to go 100 one way or 100 the other. And I think we saw a very even last game. And I think that this game is either going to be fully leading towards one way and then fully flip, or one way is just going to fully crush. And I'm really interested in the level 1 through 5 of this game because it's going to dictate a lot of the pace.
Yeah, and with that said, these two teams, I imagine they're going to be dancing around each other a lot. And as we say, it takes two to tango. So
I was going to say it takes two to tango, which is a problem. So I'll go, you run. I'm going to take two to tango in a minute. Guys, it takes two to tango, it takes two to tango, it takes two to tango if you're playing at home. Get destroyed. Oh, wait, we have even a little chat for this. What do we have? Here we go. I'll just pump these out. There you go. Takes two to tango right there. Guys who followed tonight, guys who gifted and subbed yesterday, thank you so much. This is the LBLCS. the low budget LCS. I won't tell you what LCS stands for, so I don't get sued. But it's a great night. It's 11:51 p.m. here on the East Coast. We're looking for Game 2. Whoever wins this game is going to play against Dalp's Deputies, the absolute hunky, chunky, funky men of the CEO League, who were able to dominate their series. Yeah, you know what, Keegan? First, get destroyed. Second off, yeah, Blitzkrieg is definitely used in 3 ways pretty specifically. I think that we're going to see which 3 ways he really is choose to. Yeah, I'll give you honky. Honky is technically a slur, but yeah, I'm tossing right over to you. Yeah, using 3 ways. Do I have experience? Absolutely. Have I been ripped in? I've been knocked up by Blitzcrank. I've been more knocked up than my sister on prom night by Blitzcrank. Like, this dude will knock you up, and there's nothing you can do about it. You really have to deal with the punches there. Who's the hunkiest? Hunkiest? Who's the chonkiest? All right. God damn, Stanky Crank. I'm going to go with Orn, probably the chonkiest. I don't think it's really a contest. Who's the Stanky? Stanky Crank? Shit. Let me think for a minute here. I'd want to toss a bone over to Thresh there, but I don't know. Fizz probably, honestly, is the stanky crankiest. This game is on the mid jungle duo. Early game a little bit, yeah. I would actually toss that over to the side of Glacial Vendetta for sure. If TF gets shits on, they're doomed. Yeah, if TF gets shit on, they're doomed. I don't think we're going to see that happen too much. I think we're going to see him just go down substantially in CS, knowing that there's pressure around that. However, that all changes too within the first couple of minutes as we shift over to the in-game screen, because one of the things we talked about again is Blitzcrank's impact. There's 3 things you're expecting from Blitzcrank. 1, the level 1 through level 5, basically early engage, and your ability to impact the map. Your number 2 is the ability for you to control vision so that you can have tricky little plays coming with the jungler. All of a sudden, it's a 3-man gank mid. And the third one really is about how do you understand team fights? Are you really trying to grab someone that's right? Or all of a sudden, okay, there's Hecarim and there's Mordekaiser. I'm not trying to grab them and pull them into the team. I'm trying to grab them off of the team and make it awkward for them to fight the way they want to. And we can also chain CC. So you can get picks, you can gank well, and you can use your utility, your CC, to facilitate proper team fights within the team. And we're going to see all 3 of those either be successful or be unsuccessful in this game. And we see the Ignite taken. Oh my god, thank god. I really got to tango so bad because... You hear this?
Yeah, I mean, it does take 2. So.
It takes 2 to tango, so you take over, I'll be right back.
Yeah, alright. So, I mean, I haven't heard anything of what Bugberry was talking about while I was gone. But, I mean, if I'm going to hop into the skin game here, there's a lot to talk about. I mean, you got Pulse Fight, Twisted Fate, Lancer Zero, Hecarim, KDA, Evelyn, Prestige. Like, they are not holding back. Neither team is holding back. This is pretty wacky in terms of skin game. So, I mean, both teams have already blown me away. I'm even more baffled as to who's going to take this one. With that said, I do like the fact that Hecarim has taken Smite Ghost here. I actually don't have a lot of experience on Hecarim. I don't know if that's better than Smite Flash, because, you know, I think Flash...
It's more... I think it's taken more often.
Yeah.
Both are fine, though, because Hecarim... I've played both in this league with that already, I think, this season even. I like both of them. Honestly, I prefer Flash because of your ability to spook people, but Ghost just gives you more sustained damage and everything. They're going to 5-stack a bush.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, Ghost gives you the sustained damage. I think Flash gives you that advantage to, I mean, just go over walls and stuff. You don't have to be at a constant Flash disadvantage.
Right, the other thing is that Ghost has a lower cooldown, so it's, you know, usually used with Phase Rush so that you can, you know, constantly proc things.
They did give it that buff recently.
Yep.
It has that kind of Yi ultimate functionality now.
So we'll just have to see. I think it's really good if Hector gets a big lead, but it's problematic if he's going to need that maneuverability if he doesn't. With that said, as I've mentioned, I really just want to see what the Blitzcrank does this game. He has the Ignite. He is ready to hook, and I want to see him do it.
And he's got the good Blitzcrank skin. Actually, really good skins from everybody across the board. I like the Fizz skin.
It truly is. I was talking about it while you were gone. They really, they have some of the highest level skins in this game.
People are saying Naughty Boys in 36, Naughty Boys in 28. Everybody's really rooting for the Naughty Boys here. Obviously, they're the team that's anticipated to take this because they didn't drop a single game in the regular season. Now, they didn't face this exact 5 lineup either in the regular season, so it's a little bit of a toss-up in the air. Who's really able to come out? We saw them make a pretty desperate play over by Baron last game, and they're able to really pull it out in a nutty way. Had great communication through their teams, and I think that if you're going to be able to win this matchup, it's going to be through communication again. See Quaz there, level 2 first. If he hits it onto Thresh, he does. They can really lock him down right now. A nice place to keep him alive for a second longer, but he steps onto the trap. The Ignite is down on him. They're going to be able to finish it off. First blood onto Magnum Zong as he's looking for a Quaz. Does not have that. Pull back up, but that's first blood onto Caitlyn, a commanding lead starting in the bot lane.
And I think that is exactly what I wanted to see Blitzcrank do. I wanted to see Blitzcrank land that hook on the Thresh. I think with level 2 advantage, I don't know precisely, but able to secure the kill in a huge way.
Yeah, Muscle really looking. Oh, and a nice flash to try to knock him off. Oh, a nice pullback, too. They get the headshot. They get the Q finished off. Magnum Zong's able to pick it up. But now, all of a sudden, they've got Azelius able to use that teleport very early. They're looking to trade these back on Azelius. That's double buff. Naughty Boys anticipating, communicating, and showing up to help one another.
Wow. So, I was excited for the Blitzcrank, and I think the Cats has pulled through on it. That was some high-level play from him to be able to...
Quaz was nuts there. He knew, okay, I gotta buy time for Caitlyn right now as much as I can. Was able to flash knock up into the bush. Right, he had to make sure he got into the bush, because if he didn't, he wouldn't have vision, he wouldn't be able to. Right, flash knock up into the bush, buys Caitlyn time to hit the Q to finish him off. He doesn't get too much damage down at all. He burns that ghost, and it gives time for them to communicate, Zelius, you need to teleport, come down here, because we're gonna lose 1 if not 2 people. He comes, the score is 3-1.
Yeah. And that's just an absolutely massive start. It's already a 1K lead, only a couple minutes into the game for the side of Naughty Boys. Already showing itself to be very different. It puts the bot lane of Naughty Boys at a sizable advantage as we move towards things like the first dragon. And we'll just have to see where it goes from there.
I played a lot of top lane in Season 2. And I'm not a fantastic player. I'm a good macro player. I'm not a great micro player. And I will say, Yorick Hunt has the ability to win lanes, and he has the ability to know, oh, here's a Hex Flash here. Comes from Quaz. He's going to be able to hit the hook onto Jhin. This guy's absolutely nutty. The flash from Jin's going to be used, but he's able to fully escape. Pistachio's now running for his life. The Flay's already been used. He's not going to be able to drag it onto Julie. That was a nuts hook here from Quaz. This dude really is the next level thing. Skifter now trading with Zelius, but Zelius coming out on top a lot with that corrupting question and that red buff. He's got the stun now. He's going to decide to use it. He doesn't flash forward for it, because he knows he has that E on Fizz. I was going to say, Yorkon is able to lose top really gracefully. He's going to go down in CS, but he's not going to feed. He's not going to give them priority. He's going to continue to communicate. Yorkon is one of my more favorite players throughout all of the leagues, no matter what league he's playing in, what season. He can either pop off, or he knows what role that he's playing. Zelius is now in trouble. The Flash 4 is going to keep him safe. He's going to throw the stun to get a little bit of damage. So that's the Flash burn in the mid lane right before level 6. That could be problematic for Zelius.
Yeah, and it's going to be a problem. As we know, between the Hecarim and the Fizz, we talked about this scenario in Champ Select, where he needs that Flash to be able to get out of situations, especially ganks. But we're seeing a lot of plays come out from the bot lane. If another hook comes down, that's going to be really bad.
Yeah, they were able to pick out Muscle right now. Engage here onto him. They're not going to trade up any of their jungler, but Mordekaiser might be in a little bit too much right now. They're going to start to back up as they know Muscle's coming around the corner. Oh, and there's the ultimate onto Julie, 2 levels down. Can't imagine you escape from this one, Julie. Wait, but you might? He dodges everything in the world, but he doesn't have any type of summoner to escape.
Yeah, I mean, really good for him to be able to survive that long at a 2-level disadvantage on an Evelyn. Evelyn's level 4 is not the best, particularly in comparison to Mordekaiser's level 6.
Yeah.
But he lives, he's just not able to get out. And the gold is almost even again.
Gold is almost even. No dragon has been taken. You've got Rift, Herald, Spawn. Oh, there's a Hex Splash down in the bottom lane. We're going to see the hook. That's actually the Death Sentence connecting onto Quaz, who's being very patient with his hook. As Zelius arrives, they're going to knock him up. He's going to get hooked. He's going to get pulled in. Caitlyn's going to finish it off. That's the 3rd kill for Caitlyn this game. Again, I hate to be a broken record, but Quaz. If you're not thinking he's 0-0-4. This dude's 0-0-4 for a freaking reason. He is on top of his Blitzcrank game.
Yeah, and I mean, like you talked about, this is not a great matchup for him. You know, he's into the Thresh. It's one of the champions that actually can do things about his hook. There really aren't many. And yet, I mean, he's able to have 100% kill participation.
Yorkon's going to burn that flash as well. Going to probably go down to Muscle here in the end. Takes that auto. Doesn't have anything to do. He's trying to trade a little bit of damage right there at the end, but is unable to. That hook doesn't hit in the mid lane. They do get the dragon. Goldly does shift over to the side of Glacial. But at what cost? What cost?
Yeah, and good on Glacial for just not giving up. You know, I mean, his bot lane's been pretty demoralizing, even though it's only given the side of Naughty Boy so much of a lead. But they're still able to fight back. You know, they pull themselves together. They've gotten kills on their AD carry, their jungle, and their top laner. And I'm pretty impressed with what they've been able to do, despite the fact that I'd probably just, you know, cave and fall over in the face of this Blitzcrank.
So we talked about last game, kind of similar to this game, honestly. Naughty Boy seem to be more proactive in making plays, but somehow the gold lead still continues to shift into the side of Glacial Vendetta, which is the same thing that happened last game. And I'm worried that it's going to fall into the same kind of trap where the first 2 dragons go over to Naughty Boys, then all of a sudden you have this mid-game spike from Glacial, and then Naughty Boys are able to clean it up in the end. However, if Quaz continues to play this, although he might be caught out right now by Muscle, who's going to just use everything on him. The Death Blossom doesn't hit. Quaz does have flash up, but he's going to opt not to use it. He will get caught out in the end. That's 300 gold over to Thresh, though. You weren't able to allocate that correctly. Could be an issue as Yorkon gets pulled back into Mord.
Yeah, and I want to say, I mean, in regards to the fact that the gold advantage is on Glacial's side, and that this is the same thing that happened late game, I mean, Mordekaiser is able to take quite a gold advantage.
I'm going to use it right here and here. Oh, the kill! I was waiting for so long to say that. I didn't know who the heck was going to win that.
I know. I noticed there's no shoutcast.
I was holding my breath. I was holding my breath. I was like, this is such a frantic moment for an Ornn, because you have to use your skills within time to come back as Skifter is able to pick up, is able to pick up the kill onto Zelius. If you're Ornn in that position, you use your ult too early, Mordekaiser kind of takes it. Mordekaiser also takes your stats when he goes in, so he gets the extra MR that you had built for yourself. And all my brain was thinking as an Ornn player was like, oh my god, please don't use any spell too early. And he really held on to everything right there.
Yeah, and that was huge. But I mean, before that kill, the thing I was trying to say is that, you know, Mord is able to push that advantage to the top and get himself that CS advantage. And despite the kill disadvantage, they were able to maintain.
He had never backed. His CS advantage didn't matter if he never backed.
Yeah. But now, well, I mean, I was talking in the long term of who the gold goes to. But with that kill, that's pretty big for Ornn, and, you know, who's going to be able to win fights in the top side. So now we're going to have to watch much more closely as to what goes on there.
Yeah, 2 levels up in the mid lane, though. Skifter looking pretty strong, but Zelius is the one affecting the map and creating chaos. And here's a lot of damage onto both of them, but the Corrupting Pot and the auto attacks is really big for the side of Zelius, who's might be caught out again. Julie from Bakon is right here, though. He can provide that little bit of pressure that he needs to as the stopwatch is broken for Zelius.
And that's a really big get for the side of Glacial and Vendetta. It's not quite a kill. It's not a flash. But that's not a cooldown. That's just a stopwatch.
Right.
And that probably won't be going into his own use for another 3,500 gold, at the very least, if that.
Right.
So that's pretty big to be able to have that tool down this early.
Yeah, and we're looking at what the soul could be, and it cannot be ocean, it cannot be infernal. So it's either mountain or cloud, and I think both really suit both teams pretty well. You're really looking at an ultimate heavy teams as well as teams that want to be able to negate burst, especially on the side of Naughty Boys. If you're able to get that mountain and able to pick up a couple of them, not having TF bursted down, not having Caitlyn bursted down can be really, really important. And on the other side, if Evelyn can't pick off Fizz or Jin, and Blitzcrank pull isn't enough to finish off Jin, you can get the Thresh Lantern onto him. That's really big. So both teams looking for both of those are very essential soul drakes for them.
Yeah, and I gotta say, botlane's been really quiet after the first, 5 minutes, just revolved, it had hook after hook after hook.
What we're looking at now is what I was talking about, the three things that Blitzcranks can do in a game, and one of them really is impact the map in that mid-game period, and that's what he's been trying to do. Has been as successful in the mid lane, missed a couple hooks, but oh, Zelly's doing a lot of damage to Skifter right here. If he hits the Q, it could be enough to come through. It looks like he won't, as it just narrowly shaves the chin of Fizz.
Yeah, and I gotta say, this mid lane...
Oh, the flash hook! Dwaz is nuts with a nice lantern there from the side of Pistachio. You can't crack this nut, he's gonna pull him right back in.
Yeah, that was a showstopper right there. But what I was going to say, as the side of Naughty Boys secures the front streak, is that the Fizz just looks like he has a substantial lead. He's 2 levels up, he's got 35 CS, and yet I keep seeing him losing these trades with Zelius.
Yeah, I mean, more just basically trying to hang on to his life here. He's going to pull him away in the end. And here comes Muscle, so he might be able to actually escape. Yorkhunt now dropping very, very low, and the Q is in a hit. That means they're going to get that kill onto him right now. Magnum Zone dropping a little bit low. They're doing a lot of damage to him, but there's the Julie burst. Here comes the kill. Oh, what a stopwatch, but it's not going to mean enough. As Julie Bakugan's going to pick up that kill for himself. He will not go down to the tower in the end. They're going to look for the trade towers, top for bot here. They're going to pick up that last plate right before 14 minutes, 5 seconds till that number hits. So much just happened. Yorkhunt getting beat by that too. They're going to be able to drop right top lane. They should be able to take the second tower right now. We will see if they do, and 100% they will. There's no way you can stop that happening and to stop this next charge, if anything.
And, I mean, I think great of, oh my god, there's another fight.
Yorkhunt's right here trying to fight him again. He is in a really good spot, but here comes Skifter over the blast cone. Trying to affect this fight more, and he will just provide enough pressure for them to take the blue off and get out. Gold, decently even, about a 1k gold lead here for Glacial Vendetta.
Yeah, I mean, so I was gonna say, good on Glacial to be able to win that fight against Ornn. You know, great recognition from Dango to be able to fade out with Muscle like that so that he didn't die. But I mean, same for the Naughty Boys. They were able to recognize that Evan was topside and push that advantage into a bot tower dive and get just that much more out of it. But still, in the end, Glacial was able to drop that Rift Herald, and they got 2 towers out of it and a huge amount of gold. But I mean, good for both teams.
Yeah, and we're looking at what is going to be a very similar story, I think. This is what I was talking about, is even though it's a 1k gold lead for Glacial Vendetta, which is pretty much what we saw last game, around this time period, the 2 dragons have gone to Naughty Boys. They've had really good control over the map itself. They technically have more kills, but are down in gold like last game. So now we're looking at a period of, can Glacial Vendetta repeat what they did last mid-game, that 15 to 22 minute period, right? Can they actually pick up those kills, get those dragons, and respond to what Naughty Boys have been doing?
Yeah, and
Actually, I have a question for you because I don't remember. Did Naughty Boys get Ocean Soul last game, or did it never come to that?
Never came to that. They were
Okay.
able to pick up their third Drake as well as Baron and get enough inhibitors where the next fight they could clear it out and win.
Sure. Because I was gonna say, I mean, well, the Earth Soul here, Mountain Soul, sorry.
Yeah.
They did change it, I believe. But I don't think it's as impactful as the Ocean Soul.
It's
In
not.
general,
It's
not
not.
going to be as important, but it'll still be pretty big.
It's one
especially
of the
given,
better Drakes though.
Yeah.
And I think that one thing you'll see is that Fizz is going to be less useful with an assassin build if they're able to secure that. Like, if Fizz can't blow up Caitlyn, can't blow up Zelius, can't blow up the three squishies, which is Julie, Zelius, and Magnum, right? Fizz kind of is then the clock's ticked, right? It's done. You're only basically there to do as much DPS as you can and get out with a little bit of, your slipperiness.
Yeah.
Whereas that exact concept is this. Oh, the hook is going to hit. They're going to get a little bit of damage onto him. That's a big silence. A lot of damage onto him. They're going to be able to block that ultimate there from Caitlyn, though. He's get rid of his life. But, like, Julie and the burst from getting pulled in by Quaz doesn't mean as much if you're able to pick up 4 Mountain Drakes and get the, like, that's so much. That's,
Yeah.
everything you buy is increased, by 1.4. Like, it's so much extra resistance.
Yeah, that's a good thing to keep in mind. That does require Glacial to be able to pick up 4 Mountain Drakes. And, it's tough to say who's going to win a fight around Dragon at this point, considering both teams have shown strength to win fights in different scenarios.
There's a copy box I want to just repeat. Magnum Zong is the best player in the LBLCS, known for his Giga Chad voice and banging everyone's significant others. He manhandled every other team in CEO without hesitation, and will gladly do the same to the poor executive teams that got slotted into the CEO tournament. There you go. That's the copy box.
Yeah, pretty good.
Looks like a fight
now-
should break out right here.
I would think so.
But, oh, he's going to try to flash steal. It's unsuccessful. He pulls him out so Ornn can't hit this giant thing right back in, although he's going to slap him all around. Julian from Bakugan gets picked up. And this is what we saw in the last game. Naughty Boys cleaned up mid early, and then they lost it mid late. And here comes Muscle. He's just going to deal as much damage as he can, but there's a Zonia's pop for Zelius. He's looking for a stun onto somebody. He doesn't really connect on the right person. But that's the first Drake
Huge for Glacial.
going over to Glacial. That is part of the soul, and that's what they need.
Yeah, and what was that, 4 kills? They now have a 3k gold lead. They're about to secure this tower. They're setting up around the, I mean, it's still Rift Herald, but soon to be Baron Pit. That's really big for them. It's unfortunate that Julie both wasn't able to secure the dragon and was stuck and caught out by the Jin W.
And I wasn't looking at timers, but that's a moment of decisiveness with triggers. Like, Ornn has a trigger. You can basically push people off with that ultimate in a way that is really impactful. Quaz is going to flash forward, going to pull him in, and he's going to give that kill over to Magnum Zong.
Wow.
Quaz's first 10 minutes was nuts. The last 9 minutes, he's kind of been
nuts this whole game.
Well, the last 9 minutes, he hasn't been making real plays. He hasn't been doing too much. He's been giving vision. But right there, he shows up again. He says, hey, don't fucking forget about me. All right, I'm
I feel like
Blitzcrank.
every time Quaz has thrown a hook, he's landed it.
We saw him miss 2. I know we saw him miss 2. And that might be it. But that might be it.
That's really low. That's a really low miss ratio.
The dude is
Either
nuts.
way. Yeah, that's again, regardless, even with the kill for coming after Blitzcrank, huge play for Glacial. Absolutely puts them in charge of this game, not just back into it. And we will have to see where it goes from here. But I mean, I'm excited. They're not gonna fall over. Same thing as last game. They're gonna give it a fair fight. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, it has been a really fight-heavy game here. Almost a kill a minute that we've seen. 8-10 is the score as Yorikon. and Dang and Doom down here in the bot lane just slapping each other the way top laners do. But here comes Hecarim. He's going to try to get as far in as he can, but the ultimate from Orange should scare him off. He's going to use it just to deter them, do a little bit of damage, clear this wave off. He pops the tent. He says, hey, you guys are camping me, big dog. Quaz is looking forward, but a nice in from Zelius means that this should hit. He's able to pull Thresh back in, making that Lantern basically futile as Pistachio is going to fall to Quaz.
I do appreciate the Blitzcrank Knight, as you could see Quaz.
He was trying to give it.
Worried that he'd actually walk out.
He was trying to give the kill, and they couldn't. They're going to drop that Herald in the bot lane. They're going to rotate up here to the top lane area, around where Baron has just spawned about a minute and a half ago, and they're going to look for it as Yorkun's going to have to deal with this giant freaking Rift Herald here in the bot lane, slap him up real good. Oh, a teleport now, though. Ornn does have his teleport, but he has to deal with this Rift Herald first. He's going to hit level 12 while he's trying to deal with it. Quaz is going to get pulled in to fight against Mordekaiser. He's taking a lot of damage. Does he have anything to escape when he gets out of this? He doesn't. He's going to fall first in this fight.
Yeah, that's just not a great, very fair fight for Quaz there inside the realm.
Not that it's supposed to be, but Blitzcrank does not have many tools to 1v1 a Mordekaiser who has buff stats.
What do you mean?
He will fall. It will be pulled off the Baron. Unfortunately, Lucio will not be able to get the power
Julie
bot.
from Bakon also in a lot of trouble. Is going to go down there to skip her in the end, who did drop the Ignite to secure that kill right there.
Yeah, so I mean, good on Glacial. They now have total control of this part of the map. It's 5-4. I believe all 5 are right here on the Baron, so I think they're just gonna force it. They know another's down.
Yeah,
and
Zelius has no ultimate, but does have the ability to change his summoner spell right now, as they're gonna mark and know that they're on it. They're looking for a pull from Blitzcrank, I think, to start this one, and Skifter's rotating around the back end of this. He's looking for some type of pull. He does connect it onto Pistachio. A lot of damage coming out onto him. He's gonna get bursted right away down. Baron does go over to the side of the Glacial Vendetta, and it's gonna be a 1-for-2 trade at the end of this. They still have all 3 of their carries up, but what can they do as Jhin starts firing away, looking for somebody to hit?
yeah, and I mean, Glacial Vendetta is gonna start heading over towards that dragon. It's about to be up again.
Magnum's on, getting knocked up a little bit right here. Julie from Bakugan has arrived to try to help. He's a few levels down, though. The stun onto Doom. Not quite substantial enough to really make a massive impact. But again, we see the first 2 dragons go over to the side of Naughty Boys. The second 2 go over to the side of Glacial. The Baron's on Glacial. It's a little bit different to the equation that we saw in Game 1.
Yeah.
Now we're looking at how does this game continue? How can Naughty Boys find that route back in? Because they're about 5.5K down. They need options. They need an ability to play this game, because it's going to be really hard to burst these guys all of a sudden with them 2 Mountain Drakes in. If they get the 3rd, they're on sole point. It's going to be a totally different game.
Well, I think the other thing is that another difference from Game 1 is that Glacial Vendetta has over a 5K gold lead here, which is huge.
They had a 4K in the last game, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's only 1K, but they have Baron here. They can push that lead.
I think the Baron's a big
they
difference,
all reach that. They have it all itemized. I think that's pretty different from what we were
I think the Baron's
seeing
different.
last game.
For sure. For sure.
And so I think they're going to be able to push this a little bit more. And I think Naughty Boys is in a little more trouble. Now, I mean, Naughty Boys, even last game, they were only able to turn around with, miracle play at Baron. I shouldn't call it miracle play, but it was a risky play, and they were able to pull it off. But, here they don't have that. And they're rarely under pressure from Glacial and Vendetta, so let's see what they can pull off.
The ultimate from Muscle does get burned right there, as down here in the bot lane, we do see Dang Doom try to do a little bit of damage onto Yorkun, but is unable to really shred that big boy. Oh, a hook, though, is going to hit Fizz. He's going to just hop back over the wall. It could have been really nice if they had the follow-up CC, but they didn't. And Evelyn's waiting on the outskirts, trying to pick up somebody who's squishy, but just has no in right now. Just can't get into this. Oh, there's the CC target. The hook does hit onto Muscle. They're trying to get the damage down. The trap does hit, and all of a sudden, he's in a lot of trouble. Hecarim might just die to this fight, and he does. That's the #1 kill right there. And Ornn is going to slap up 3 people, one of the best ults I've ever seen in my life. Yorick couldn't get a knockdown on a lot of people. Dang Doom is now in the next bit of the equation. He's going to pull out Magnezong. He does use that QSS to try to escape right here, but a great Jin ult's going to knock down 2 people. The Death Blossom doesn't hit onto anybody who does get CC'd. Now Skifter might have to run for his life. I don't think you're in the opportunity, but Jin, 3 kills this fight. Here comes the ultimate, though. He's going to finish him off. Now they're going to go all in for Skifter right now, doing as much damage as they can. He's going to hit onto a trap. Zelius needs to pick a card quickly. He needs to find out how much damage he can do to him. He's got to hit the Q, and he does. And it's a win for the side of Naughty Boys. But you lost an inhib. You lost an inhib tower almost in the bot lane right now. You're in a position where you have to get an X Dragon or it could be game over. That was a crazy fight.
That was one of those fights where just everyone bled.
The side of Glacial Vendetta was not able to secure the game. All 5 of their members go down, but the side of Naughty Boys, they lose 4 members, they lose an inhibitor. Naughty Boys definitely won that. Very impressive they were able to win that 5-goal deficit, and I'm pretty sure the Baron had not yet expired either. But with that said, they're still in a deep hole, and Glacial Vendetta is going to also have to find a way to pull through on this.
I think this is Glacial Vendetta's game to lose. They should be able to pull this out. They should make this a 3-game series. They have a really substantial lead. They're in a really great spot with their comp. This is the spot they needed to get to. But
now, the question is, do we see Naughty Boys take the third Dragon again?
Right. Ornn is in the game, though. And if you survive a couple other fights, Ornn has the ability to make Caitlyn, to make Evelynn, to make TF really big. So we're going to see how big they can really make them, although it looks like people might get caught out right now. Zelly's going to be in a bad spot. Julie from Bakon going to have to run for his life right now against Muscle's going to use a really nice ultimate to try to dodge a little bit of damage, but here comes the death sentence from Pistachio. It's not even going to be needed as they're going to actually catch it onto TF. He's going to be out of position. He might even go down to Skifter right now. There's 4 people surrounding him. How much damage can he do before he goes down? A good amount onto Jin, but it's not going to matter as he's going to heal it up by hitting minions. Now Ornn is slapping away 3 levels down against this Mordekaiser. And Glacial Vendetta out. Oh, what a timing on the death sentence right now there. Whoa. Pistachio getting battered around early game, but really showing up late here.
And the death timer is certainly long right now.
I think this should be game over going Glacial Vendetta's way right now.
Well, I mean, you never know with Quasi Blitzcrank.
That's true.
Pull out something wacky.
It's just too dominant the way they're pushing into this base right here. The hook does hit onto Jin. That's the person you want to hit it onto, but oh my god, Hecarim was already around the corner. The QSS is going to mean nothing as Julie from Bakugan trying to escape with his life. He's unable to, and the Quaz, the champion of the early game, is going to go down, and that's going to be game 2 over to Glacial Vendetta as Zelius just cannot save his base. Nice ultimate from Yorick-Gun is going to be nothing as he gets CC'd and battered around. And this is going to a game 3, baby. Let's see who can take it.
Wow. Well, if I am correct, that is the first game that Naughty Boys have lost all season.
Yep, that's right there. And you know what? We're invited to the next game already. Let me toss the invite your way if you can hop out of game right now. Send it over to you. Switch the screen over. You can jump on down as well.
As these 2 teams get set up for draft, you know what they say, it takes 2 to tango.
It does indeed take 2 to tango. The spectate for this draft is now on my screen. I will take it. I'll pop it up. I'll hit it. Just going to say R, even though I'm not fully R. I'm just going to say it. As we switch over, and we are good to switch over as they start this draft right now. Syndra again banned away from Zelius, a really good Syndra player, banned all 3 games here. Graves going to be taken away again from the Glacial Vendetta jungler. They're going to stick to the same bans on the side of Vendetta as Wukong's taken away. Yet again, these 4 bans are essential to every single game. In Bard, you got to take it away from Quaz. The guy's nuts. Mordekaiser is going to be the final ban as they first lock Hecarim this time. I think that was the important key that unlocked the victory for them this game. Naughty Boys thinking about what they want to take in Game 3, the final game of the series, no matter which way it goes. 10 seconds left for the first pick here. I'm expecting them to think about both picks, pick them quickly together. Skarner is locked in the jungle. That's new. I'm into that. That's a new pick. I like it a lot. Who else do we have for the side of Naughty Boys as Vendetta are thinking about Skarner and what really they need to play against that kind of stuff? I do get a little bit of a ping right now. Let's see if it means anything. Maokai's going to be locked in as well. It's a lot of CC already from the side of Naughty Boys. What else can they do in this fight here? Vendetta trying to upset the current league leaders in wins. Camille's going to be picked. Talked about that being a ban away. The other game. Although Camille can be interrupted by a lot of Maokai things. Maokai can dodge a lot of Camille's damage, so it's going to be an interesting fight in terms of micro. Camille's going to have a lot more pressure if she's able to win with those. Orianna's a great pickup with Hecarim and Camille, too, because you can really have people dive in, have a nice ultimate around them. The third pick for Naughty Boys is pending. It's going to be Misfortune again, it looks like, for PP Bears, or I guess whatever the hell his name is. Magnum Zong right now? Magnum Zong. Samira is going to be banned away by the Naughty Boys. They didn't like it in the first game. They didn't want to face it again. Thresh is going to be banned away as well, it looks like. Try to put the support on something new as they ban Nautilus away. From the side of Naughty Boys, both of these teams really preferred the red side, I think, which is interesting. Leona's going to be the other ban. They don't want Quaz on that engaged champ. Let's see what Quaz does end up taking. He probably will get full counter again if they feel safe picking that mid laner, because Orianna has already been shown. You know where it's going. They're tossing up that center lane. Looks like it's going to be Cassiopeia. Vayne is picked up. That's an interesting choice from the side of Glacial Vendetta, as they're going to pick up Lulu with it. This is a pretty potent team comp. This is going to be a team comp hard to deal with. Can Naughty Boys respond with a decent enough support to really suppress this? Obviously, Skarner is a really solid pickup into something like Vayne, into something like Camille Orianna. The Alistar is being hovered again. This is a bot lane we saw really dominate. Can they dominate for a second time within this series? So we're going to shift over back to the in-game screen. We are waiting to see what becomes of these two teams. We're going to jump on into the cast, and let me just say, got a lot of time before the game actually starts, and it's 12:30. I'm very tired, boys. Shout out to everybody following the channel right now, following along at 12:30 a.m. on this Monday on the East Coast. Mighty support. Zelius Lull. Zach is a cat. Art Joe Mif2. Artius2, a 10. Awesome Angels? Awesome Angles? Mikey GG, Bondi, Clutch Religion, TTV. Nice to have you back, Clutch. Appreciate that. Sorry that the Mooks couldn't be in this kind of competition. Commander Root, Cosmo Turtle. It's really depression. He's just spelled it differently. Depruftion. MZ Shady, X Ranger. Someone has the name Feet, and I think that's incredible. Really good job nailing the name Feet down. LeChance would love to lick you. Would he be in this cast? Foul Play 87. I ate mud for you 6. Don't know why you're eating so much mud, but I appreciate that you're doing that. Good for you, dude. It's Ivert. I'm sure it's an Ivern thing. I don't know. Keegan, almost a dozen, dropping right out in here. Lotus Vizzy, Lurks, Malicious, Ninja Bear 21, Psycho Kitty. What's up? What's up, girl? Pistachio, Raidens, Ribotsi, Scoom Shop. I'm interested in buying anything you're willing to sell. Jump right into that in a minute. Swiftly, V and K. That's a good name. I like that. Both Swiftly and V and K, good names. Virgo Prize. Wizard King Yami. I'm not saying your name is a little magical, but it's definitely bordering upon it with the whole Wizard King shit. Waffles Wormly, Phoenix 20, and Sir Kid. Sir Kid, obviously, a knight for the Wizard King. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Really
Another
appreciate
threat.
it. Thank you, Wizard King. Big ups, dog. Obviously, you guys already saw this draft, so I didn't have to really talk about it too much.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm back, and I haven't seen it at all.
Yeah, that's good, because I've been hammered, and I'm drinking a lot of corianders, and, actually, you know what? Shout out to Midnight Oil and Oatmeal Stout I'm drinking. It's, I'm hammered is what I'm saying. This is a very different draft from the side of Naughty Boys this game. I gotta switch all these numbers. Oh my god, making me work so hard. Hang on, I gotta... Why don't you talk for like 6 minutes while I switch this?
Yeah. 6 minutes? That sounds about right. So, this is my first look at the draft. Here's what I want to say. Okay, wait, is that actually Lily, or are they just hovering that? Okay. They're just hovering that, thank God. I would have been really confused if that was a Lilia support. We're going to see the Hecarim come out again. So I guess they chose not to ban it on the side of Naughty Boys. They identified Mordekaiser as the problem from the last game that they're really bothered by. I do really like the Skarner pick. We're going to see how it works out. Vayne's a little hard to lock down, especially if she ults. But then again, if you're able to get the ult off, there's no way for her to avoid that. And depending on what Rune Skarner takes, you can pull her pretty far into the team. With that said, hold on just a second.
No, not holding on. In fact,
Okay,
I'm
all right,
taking
we're going.
over.
Full speed.
Full speed.
They have the Lulu to support the main. It's one of those things that's really wacky when it works out, because the attack speed buff, makes Raid really strong. But they also, they're up against a Misfortune Alistar, and Alistar has a lot of CC to punish. A very not squishy. I don't know what the correct word is. It's not quite immobile either. Vayne does have dashes. But it's abusable. They don't have neither of those champions have the most impeccable early game.
Go
ahead.
I'm going to interrupt you because, you know what, I'm creator and I have a lot of power. Also, I'm hammered. The other thing I want to say is that Yorkun is a great top laner. We've seen him Season 2 play against Shadow Pups. There's a clip of him in our Discord, so if you guys want to join our Discord, it's just down below. Click the Discord button, you'll be joined. Of him basically 1v3ing for about a minute and a half on Maokai late game. He's played Ornn the last 2 games. He's now on Maokai. This is a champion he understands really well from a micro level. He's got the ability to heal, to understand how to negate healing, to play around what Maokai is good at in terms of cooldowns, in terms of spell timers with the other guys. So I'm interested in. Listen, it's been a year since he's been in or it's been a season at least since he's been in a position like this. He needs to be able to come out on top and understand that with Skarner, he can have insane synergy. Skarner Maokai can really lock down basically anyone. And keep them in a position where they can't actually bother you. They both have incredible healing. They have a lot of CC. They have the chainable CC. And they have almost infinite chainable CC with their CDR if they both get 15%. So if they understand their roles, we haven't seen Julian Skarner, I think, ever in the history of the LBLCS, and he's been here since Season 1 as well, and we're on Season 4 right now. So I'm ready for them to show off something that they probably were saving until the best of 5 finals, which is next week on Dia de los Muertos. Maybe not. Maybe this is something they're just trying out, and maybe they haven't practiced it too much, but they've got 3 tanks and 2 giant TPSs. Can they win this game?
I think they can. And I think a big reason why is because I feel like Maokai is going to be a big problem for Vayne. One of the things I talked about is the fact that Vayne can be pretty slippery, depending on the context. But Maokai is one of those champions that just has point-and-click CC. And if you're able to, like, as soon as you get that route onto Vayne, that's a big problem for her. Now, on the reverse side, champions like Maokai and Alistar do suffer against the Vayne because Vayne has that max health true damage. So even when you build armor, you can only, get so much effectiveness out of it against her. But even so, when you look at, the Misfortune, the Cassiopeia, if you're able to get that Vayne in one place, you have a lot of options for, taking her health bar all the way down before she's even out of CC.
Yeah, I mean, you've got point and click on basically Maokai, Alistar, and Skarner here. However, you've got Lulu in the game. And Lulu in the game being able to help people like Camille, like Hecarim, like Vayne can be really detrimental to a team that's trying to slow it down. On the other hand, Cassiopeia being able to negate the actual ability for Vayne and Hecarim to tumble around, to move quickly to ultimate, that can absolutely be a game changer. I think one thing that, when I'm looking at this game, if I'm thinking about, okay, how do you engage on a team like Maokai, Skarner, Cassiopeia, Misfortune, Alistar? How do you do that without basically tossing somebody in, like tossing them in and they die? You know what I mean? Like, if Cassiopeia holds that miasma, if Skarner and Maokai and Alistar, Maokai's ultimate obviously is probably the best peel in the game, with the exception of maybe Nami. Like, you have Ninjana, you have really good peel on a top laner that also has the ability to engage, so that's really important. You have high control around objectives. You're basically playing around that dragon side again, your red side again now on Naughty Boys. If they get too late, I think maybe Lulu Vayne can totally win it because you'll have this extra advantage of, you're bursting people too quickly for this lack of engage to really matter. But I think that it's so difficult to start a fight onto these 5 people because, 1, you're not bursting the 3 frontliners, and 2, it's going to be so hard to get back to their DPS dealers. I don't know. I think that if you don't know the teams, and if the teams had totally even team comps, like the same 5 people, I'd normally give the game to the team that hadn't lost one all league season, which is Naughty Boys. But look at these team comps. Unless Hecarim or Camille gets a big lead early, I'm going Naughty Boys.
I think that's fair. I do want to call out one thing, which is the phase rush on part of the Alistar. I don't think it's particularly unusual. I think the 2 runes you went to get an Alistar are the phase rush and the aftershock. But I think the phase rush is particularly interesting here, simply because it's going to allow him to pull off a little bit more cheeky plays, but he's not going to be able to get that armor. As I talked about, the armor, might not be as effective into the Vayne, because she can just do the true damage anyways, but it's still going to make a difference in those early fights. So Quaz here is on another very like playmaking style here with the phase rush Alistar. But he does not have the defensive aftershock to really keep him safe when he does go for things.
You've got two teams with double teleports, so they understand the importance of showing up to lanes, being impactful. Other thing is that MF has taken Exhaust, Quaz has taken the Ignite. I think
Can we
that's
also just take a
right.
second to talk about how many phase rushes there are in this game in general?
A lot of phase rushes. 1, 2, 3, 4. But they're normal on
Five.
everyone
There's
they're
five.
on.
There's five.
What's the fifth one?
Both mid laners and junglers, and then Quaz.
Oh, wow. Quaz. Okay. I did not see Quaz's. Yeah, no, you're right. He does have it.
Yeah. It's there's a lot of people are gonna move pretty fast. I don't think anyone here who took phase rush it took it in a particularly unusual manner. These are all champions been expected on.
Yeah.
Even so, it makes a big difference in a lot of what's going to be happening.
Yeah, and bot lane is going to get a little bit of that lead again. Trying to push Vayne off some of the CS, but she should get all of it here. Camille can't fight Maokai early on in the game. She just can't do it. He's not going to die to her. He has the ability, really good CC moves. His ability to basically trade evenly with auto attacks, and he has a really good heal. When Camille can actually have high attack speed and do that significant true damage that Camille does do, we're going to see her actually fight him, but the fact that Yorkon has a safe lane early on is really big for him, I think, because we saw him mitigate the damage in a lot of lanes where he shouldn't have the winning lane.
Yeah. And I think that in particular, I mean, Camille also has grasp, but with the grasp of his own, it definitely dissuades the trading.
Oh, but here comes Muscle trying to engage on him right now. He does use the W in a perfect fashion to avoid that oncoming Muscle. Really, really solid from Yorkon. Proving once again he does deserve to play in the CEO League despite his lower rank of only Plat.
Can we talk about that though? Because that was not a long W. He did not have too much time to avoid that.
No, he had to use it as it was coming in. He had held on to it too, expecting a gank similar to what did happen. He's going to heal a little bit. And when Camille attacks, Camille always does adaptive shields, right? So Camille's shield is what is going to block the most damage, and it's constantly been AD, which is really interesting. And she's going to go in for the stun right now. Onto Yorkon is just going to Q right back as he's drinking his corrupting pots. And a flash in from Quaz is going to knock up Pistachio into the air. They're looking for as much CC as they can, and Magnum's on once again. Should be able to pick up this kill. Actually, it's on to Quaz as Julie was on the backside right there. Was unable to pick up any kind of kill. No summoners burning the bot lane other than Quaz's. As Yorkon is going to just CC and try to trade. He's going to flash away. One tower shot does affect right there. The heal right there is going to be pretty big. If he has a W, he's probably safe from this. Don't go aggressive. Don't go aggressive, Camille. Camille, no! Oh. Making me sweat, big dog. Yes, Hecarim's there, but WQ can really change it and make it rain onto the Vayne in the bot lane. It's going to trade a little bit of damage.
Now, I'm not a big Camille player, but I am curious because nothing changed between the first time and the second time. The first time it was a physical shield, and the second time it was a magic shield.
So level 3 to level 4, he probably leveled up his Q again, giving more damage to the actual magic.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense. I was just a little confused. I figured it shared properties with other adaptive things where it took a look at, you know, where the AP and the AD lies. But that does add up. With that said, we got First Blood coming out for Naughty Boys. They're taking a very small gold lead, but you know, it's still important.
I'm gonna interrupt you. I'm gonna interrupt you for chat reasons, guys. Everyone in chat, love each other. It's okay to be different. It's okay to have different opinions. This is a fun league. Alistar is gonna go in and try to say my opinion matters more as he suns up Muscle right now. Muscle's gonna have to burn that E to get away here. Okay.
Yeah, and so as I was saying, after that fight in the top lane where Maokai is kind of forced back, pressured by both Camille and the not the Camille and the Hecarim, he is down a teleport, which could be pretty big if a fight breaks out in another lane.
Going to knock onto Yorkon, but he's a level up onto Dang Doom. He's looking for a little bit of trading as much as he can do. The grasp is going to give him a little more health. But Camille's grasp and Camille's ability to do true damage is really important. Luckily, it's not Fiora who can really burn through Maokai. Quaz is looking for that Hex Flash. Yeah, oh, that's a tower shot onto him. And that shield didn't block any of it. This is Yorikon's fight to win. If he can do it with the ultimate right now, he's going to drop it onto him. Dang Doom's trying to escape. That's a nice E. He's able to get the W, and that's game over for Dang Doom. He's going to go down to the solo kill to Yorikon, who's up in CS, and now a kill. Oh! Magno Zong with the Q for the ages, baby. Picks up third kill here for Naughty Boys.
Yeah, I mean, wow. Okay, a couple things happened there, right? First of all, before we even get into what just happened, 2K gold lead for Naughty Boys. I may be wrong, I think this is the most sizable advantage they've had in, you know, at the start of the game. Despite the fact they've always taken the lead first, the 2K's huge difference from the other game. What we've usually seen is that the farm coming after Glacial Vendetta puts them way ahead. Not way ahead, excuse me, but like it evens out the fact that
yeah, it evens out the kill difference in gold.
Yeah. So the fact that they actually have a 2K gold lead with that, you know, is a big difference. In addition to the fact that Maokai was actually able to take that solo fight top lane, able to take a bot lane, and so Skarner is able to continue farming, whereas in the other games, Julie from Bakugan has been forced to, you know, apply pressure to lanes. So this is a pretty sizable difference from previous games. So we'll have to see where it goes.
Yeah, and Skarner is in the top lane. He's getting caught out right now, at least pinged on the map, not necessarily caught out. He's clearing out some warding. They're going to clear out the warding right back to that try, which will go back into the favor of Glacial. There's blue buff. Next blue buff. Let's see how they allocate it. They might go back to Skarner just for the levels. He is only level 5. Hecarim is level 6 right now. But Cass really benefits from a blue buff early, especially to stack that tier. They're going to look for a little bit of plate spot lane. They get up one. Let's see if they can get another. I don't think they will be able to. Vayne's pretty close to getting there.
They don't have vision on Hecarim, so I think they probably will back up, but they really want it. They really want it.
Fight broke out in the bot lane. They picked up MF. Waz running away for his life does get picked up by the Vayne as well. There's no dragon to pick up for 3 minutes. Oh my god, Muscle's going all the way in full speed though right now. He's able to do a lot of damage onto Zealous, who flashes away. He's not able to do enough damage. Let's see if Julie can pull him in under tower. He pulls him pretty deep, but not far enough to get that kill, as Oriana's going to trade a lot of damage onto him as well. It's a 3 for 3. All of a sudden, the gold lead is kind of negated.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he might die to this.
He
does! And
God.
the blue buff goes over to Julie Bakugan. Very overzealous, very naive from the side of Muscle, who've been playing so well up to that moment. And that can really shift the tempo of a game, dropping like that. And all of a sudden, now you can have a little bit of pushback. As Quaz is looking for something, he's not able to get it.
Yeah, the bot lane is now under pressure because they don't have the jungle that they did there. And I'm just a little curious because I thought that Hecarim had Smite up. I'm a little surprised that he didn't use it unless I'm incorrect. Either way, I mean, first of all, incredible from Glacial to be able to recognize that fight, pull it off, and good on Muscle to, you know, he ran really deep into that jungle, and he knew that he could. He knew that he was pushing his advantage as a Hecarim.
The bot lane fight breaks out. A huge ultimate map is going to knock that one down. Vayne does die in this right here. Top lane is as boring as top lane gets, with nothing happening. There we go. There's a W in. Here's a knockback. A nice ultimate, though, is not going to see him under tower for the tower shots. Quaz has no mana. He gets polymorph. Can he get the auto off for the stun? He does get one off. Magnum Zog doing a lot of damage. Where's the Q? Do you have it available, Quaz? Can you do anything right here? As Magnum Zog's trying to carry this fight, now he has the red buff. I think he's 2 levels up on this Pistachio. He should be able to at least trade effectively. Pistachio should have ultimate as well. Can definitely win this fight. He's going to flash a little bit of emo as Zelius is running down, but 7-4 is going to be the score and nothing more.
Yeah. And it's another one of those games where there's a lot of action. Never a dull moment with these two teams. But that fight up top lane, wait, did we witness Camille die, or am I just really that out of it?
You're probably that far out of it. As far out of it as Orianna gets pulled from her tower. Her ultimate doesn't even connect, but it doesn't go on cooldown either, which could be useful for her as Dragon is spawning in about 45 seconds from right now.
And, you know, Naughty Boys are going to have a 1.5k lead. Not super substantial as it was, 5 minutes ago, when they still had that 1.5 lead, but, I mean, it still makes a difference. With that said, I imagine they'll aim for this Dragon, but we do see Skarner up with the Golems. If they're able to get a pick on the bot lane, or, the jungler or the mid lane, they should be able to have it clean, but they have to be able to find that pick.
Yeah, and they're looking for it right now with how they're setting up their wards. They want to be able to find it. Yorkon's going to fight this Camille right now while he still has advantage with those Ninja Tabi and the Bomby Cinder. With this Corrupting Pots, he can still do a decent amount of damage. There's a true damage that I was talking about from Camille landing onto Yorkon. That is what's going to shred him. That is what's going to give him a problem with that Sheen true damage Q. They're going to go for this right here. And this is a classic Naughty Boy special. Get the first 2 dragons and throw the rest.
Yeah, we saw the first 2 games. We'll see it again, maybe. But they do get the first 2. And
Ocean
it's
Tree.
another Cloud Mountain, so they will see the Ocean Soul come out. And I think that is huge on pretty much every member.
It's the best. It's the best soul, right? It matters for everyone. I think that in terms of how useful it is, it's most useful again for Naughty Boys because you have these 3 tanks, and you have these 3 people that, like Cassiopeia and Cassiopeia and MF don't need the Infernal. If they're gonna kill you, they're gonna kill you with burst or with DPS. That, like the machine gun of Cassiopeia is gonna provide a nice W there from Yorkon's gonna do a little bit of damage, but he's gonna get ulted up by Dang Doom. The ultimate's gonna drop from both sides of him. The Q's gonna follow up. Giving a lot of damage right here, but it's not gonna be enough. Hecarim gets totally stunned up, gets dragged in. Zelius slays him, and now Skifter on Orianna is a little bit out of position. They used to also to seize up that giant horseman. That's gonna be all they're able to do.
Yeah, and I mean, I think as you were saying, the Ocean Drake isn't going to matter, or the Infernal Drake isn't going to matter as much as Cassiopeia and MF because they have to get inside that upward range to do their whole combo anyways. So the Infernal Drake isn't going to make a difference in poke or anything, but I do think the Ocean Drake, they have the 3 tanks. Even Cassiopeia, she's going to be kiting around, dodging projectiles, and constantly laying down damage, so the Ocean Drake's going to be pretty much on her. So if they're able to get those 2 drakes, which they haven't been able to any game, then it will be huge. So
No souls have been taken in this entire series.
That's true. Not a single one.
Oh, but Quaz almost hitting that double stun, gets polymorphed in the end. Cannot negate that much damage. Hecarim's coming in. Here comes Zelius, though, doing a good amount of damage. Alistar's actually the first one to fall. The teleport in from Glacial is going to mean 2 are going to get knocked up by the Orianna ultimate, and Zelius isn't able to trade any of them. As it's a 3-for-0 for Glacial. They're going to take some control and drop the Herald here in the bot lane.
So, I mean, that's a huge turnaround for Glacial right there. I mean, they're able to pick up huge amount of gold bot lane, completely turn around the way that I thought that lane was going. So I think that's pretty big for them. The gold is now even. We may see another 2 Drake turnaround from Glacial. So
we could see it. I mean, this is also what we talked about. This is what's been happening. This is the formula of this series. Naughty Boys really dominate that early game. They understand their early rotations, their early warding, where people probably are from jungling. And then it becomes a mystery because they don't continue that warding pressure. So they don't know where those people go. They don't know where they are. And all of a sudden, now you're in this position where your bot lane's getting caught out. They're able to really pressure around these dragons again. And it's happened the last 2 games. The first 2 dragons go over to Naughty Boys, and the next 2 to Glacial.
Yeah. So, I mean, with things positioned as they are, we are looking like we're geared for a fight mid lane. Both teleports are up, but Vayne is bot all alone. So I do think that there's a bit of an advantage for Naughty Boys if something were to break out right now, but we'll have to wait and see.
There are 2 sides to every issue. My side and the wrong side.
A little bit of a lull in the game as we wait for a minute before this ocean is going to spawn. Now, it's a little early in the game to talk about warding. It's only 16 minutes, but you do see the fact that Naughty Boys have superior warding around that major objective down in the bot lane because they've had the majority of pressure around that lane for a lot of the time. Yorkon just trying to provide as much pressure here in the top lane as he can, as all of a sudden Vayne really looking to go aggressive. Hecarim is coming up that lane as well. Quaz is in the bush, lurking, but now they see there's a lot of people. Julie from Bakugan might run into a little bit of trouble if he decides to go too aggro here.
Now, I do have a question for you, which is, how long do we have on the next dragon?
15 seconds, and a nice suppression. He gets knocked back actually through Vayne. A huge knockup, but oh, a quadra pull in from the Orianna. Isn't going to be enough. She's going to ult probably the wrong person here with Camille. And a massive ult from FF is going to matter a lot. Yorkon's going to go in on one of the bigger carries. A nice ult from him is going to lock up a lot of people. All of a sudden, a lot of people are in trouble for Glacial. That's going to be a 3 for 0, and they should be able to have the 3rd dragon. Naughty Boys, for the first time in this series, should be able to collect the first 3 dragons without a hit.
Yeah.
Yorkon is going to do so much damage. He's going to be able to kill Camille. He's going to be able to fight back on Orianna. Oh, he does go down to the E, pull back in the dragon tag. She hit the fountain, Maokai.
And the caster's curse does come back to haunt me as I say that Glacial will once again get that 3rd dragon and stop Naughty Boys, but they do not. I suppose that is just the power of your Hunt's Maokai.
Yeah, I mean, he's really solid on this champion. You look at him right now, he's 4-1-1. He's pretty even in CS with Camille. It's a 3 CS difference. Not massive in any manner. 3 dragons on the side of Naughty Boys mean that now all of a sudden, yes, you have this late game comp. Camille, Lulu, Vayne is nuts late game. But you gotta get there. You're 19 minutes in almost. Late game really starts after like 25 minutes. You've got a lot of time that you've got to be able to burn through without sacrificing that much of your own stuff. So let's see if they're able to do it. Because right now, and I'm not much of a betting man, but if I were to bet, I'm putting my money, putting all my eggs into Naughty Boys.
Yeah, I would happen to agree as Maokai stretches over to that Camille. Nothing to happen. Just your usual top lane interaction. But I do think that they have a sizable lead. I like their team comp. But there is some pressure coming to the top.
Teleport, the ultimate's going to stop that teleport right now. All of us, oh wait, the miasma and the ultimate is going to hit onto Orianna. She is down a flash away from Zealous. He's even alive for a second longer, but now he doesn't have a flash again. He's trying to do as much damage as he can. He might be able to finish her off, and he does! That's a double kill for Zealous. He's an incredible play. Now in the top lane, we're looking for more things to happen. The Herald does go down, and I believe Skarner picks it up. Now all of a sudden, they're pushing in the top lane, bot lane as well, because Zelius is still there. The knockback onto Pistachio, the knock up onto Pistachio, and I think Magnum Dog's going to be able to pick up this kill pretty handily. And all of a sudden, Naughty Boys are absolutely running through Glacial.
Wow. Zelius just with the most crisp plays there. He's able to get the double kill, slash the Maokai, or not the Maokai, the Hecarim ult, as we see
This
fight
is
happened up top.
nuts. I mean, Yorikon on one of his more favorite champions. The Hex Flash forward. Quaz getting pushed back again, but they're able to take a tower bot lane. They're probably able to take one mid lane, likely one top lane. Instead, he's going to push that Vayne backwards, make it rain right on him. I think Quaz will go down here, but they should be able to take a little bit more here in the top as everybody's going to escape. A big gold lead now with 3 Drakes from the side of Naughty Boys as they take top tower and increase that gold lead to about 5K.
Now, I do want to. There is something that I haven't really mentioned, but I'm very glad that Naughty Boys did it, which is I really like that they put Zelius on someone like Cassiopeia. Because I think, back when he was on the Corki, I kind of was wishing to see him on someone like this full DPS Cassiopeia, and I think he's really lived up to it because he's been playing great this series. And so, putting him on that carry role, letting him pop off is exactly what they needed to do, and we just saw the evidence of it right there, right? They were able to, just Zelius was able to get a double kill, and play fantastically around what was going on. He got his teleport interrupted, started that fight at half health, and was able to get a double kill.
Yeah, and that's something that, like, yes, obviously doing that alone is incredible, but what it does when you're with 5s is it opens up the map. All of a sudden, your team knows, okay, 2 are dead. We have 4 people on the other side of the map. Let's take as many objectives as we can. Let's do as much damage to these towers as we can. And now they're able to basically have full range of putting down wards, of engaging in this bot side jungle. They can get prio everywhere, right? And they have a big gold lead. Like, this is a good itemized Cassiopeia right now.
Now, is it just me, or are we not getting to see that Cassiopeia and Maokai are soloing Baron? Well, duoing Baron. Because they've been on it for a long time, according to the minimap.
Yeah, they have been sitting right around there. I'm assuming that they're doing it. We will see in a second. I'm assuming, yeah, here it is very, very low. You can pop right over to it, and they're going to finish it right now under the noses. Glacial.
Yeah, and that's big. Because I don't think Glacial was ready for that. Glacial, I mean, they pushed, they got that top tower, they were trying to get some fire around the map. But I don't think they were ready, as this dragon was spawning, to hear that the Baron had been slain.
There's a teleport coming in from Camille right now. Now, this might be a sacrifice. They might not be able to get soul. And if they cannot get soul, it could be a really big issue. The Polymorph onto Julie from Bakon can grab that Vayne. It's not going to be enough. Miasma is coming out. They're going to do a lot of damage onto this Camille, but the Skarner's already dead. Here comes the Hacker. He's coming into the fight, and oh my god, a nice ultimate over the wall. Yorkut's already here. Vayne is going to take a lot of damage. Vayne's going to go down to Magnum Zong. I think Zeus going to pick up 1 kill, if not another. The score is 3-2 in this fight, and all of a sudden it looks like Naughty Boys are just going to sweep right here.
And, well, okay, with that said, there still has not been a single soul this series.
The dragon, I know, the dragon went over to Glacial. Good for them that they got that, because if they didn't, it's over right now.
Mm-hmm.
But they should get 2 towers here. They might be able to get
this is that was still a huge fight for Naughty Boys. It's rather funny that they've not been able, neither team has been able to see their soul.
Yeah, and they're looking for something here. They really want this in it, but they're not going to be able to get it. They must have to back out and back right now with that enhanced recall.
Good awareness from Naughty Boys to be able to peel off right there. Hecarim was coming up. They could have been in trouble because the side of Glacial has some pretty divey champions. So they'll back up and they'll get away.
Oh, York State. Trying to cheese something he really shouldn't be trying to cheese.
It looks like they'll be able to walk away. The W did miss. There's no slow. Hecarim's collapsing on him, but there's also an Alistar nearby. This is gonna be tough.
He's baiting them all to the bot lane. I will say that he absolutely is going to go down at the end of this, and he does. A little bit of a troll there from Yorikon as he goes down there in the bot lane, but still a 5+ gold lead for the side of Naughty Boys. Here in the 25th-ish minute, we're getting close, about 10 seconds till the 25th minute.
Yeah, and you pointed out exactly what I was about to, which is that the goal lead is pretty heavily in favor of the Naughty Boys as we speak. So, not sure what they'll be able to pull off with that, but I think that's pretty big for them. Especially since I think a lot of that gold is on the Cassiopeia and the Misfortune. So, I'm feeling pretty good about Naughty Boys' chances. But, I mean, we'll have to see what the next
right? Naughty Boys are in control of this game. They're dictating it. If they win or lose, it's up to them. Glacial has to play it right to be able to come back. But Naughty Boys have to play it wrong to not lose, or to not win.
Yeah. I agree. Now, with that said, I think Glacial have played an incredible series, so they are not out of this.
No, not at
But
all. They're
you're
the
right.
first team to take a game off of Naughty Boys. If anything, that's
Yeah.
already an achievement. If they were to take this with a late game like Camille, Ori, Vayne combo, they really can. Like, Lulu can really buff you up. So,
Yeah. And
looking for the catch on Camille. They're all rotating over.
how long do we have on the dragon?
2 minutes, 11 seconds.
Okay, I was gonna say it didn't look like it was coming up. It looked like people were about to fight over an empty pit. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I think Glacial has put up an incredible fight all 3 games of the series. And so I certainly don't think they're out, but I do agree with you that it's up to Naughty Boys to not win this game.
Yeah.
Now, we do see 2 members of Glacial sitting in the bush by Raptors. I think they were waiting to see if they could catch someone trying to put down some vision. They're unable to. But I think that the game's kind of slowed down a bit, and the reason why is the Naughty Boys really want this Ocean Soul. Because I think they know that if they get this Ocean Soul, fighting is going to be almost impossible for Glacial.
They look for Vayne a
And
little
so-
bit right there. He does get stunned. Quaz is going to be fine, though. He's going to back up, and I agree that if they get Ocean Soul, it's all over. I don't think there's a possibility for
Yeah.
Glacial to really come back unless they can stall until Elder and steal it. So,
And I think, I think that's why it's a very slow fight in the game right now. They're playing super patiently. They just want to see, wait until this soul comes up so that they can secure it. And until that happens, they're perfectly content just sitting, maintaining control of the pit and waiting. The gold, you can see that the gold lead is slipping a little, but I don't think it's relevant to Naughty Boys in their mind. I think they're ready to just wait it out. And that 0.5,
yeah, they're
1K
bush
is
sitting
going to
right
make it.
here. They're begging for one person to come forward. They want Quaz to be able to flash onto him, CC him. Now they're looking for the mid lane. Zelius is going to push up a little bit early, but Quaz is right here. The Miasma does nothing. A teleport in from Maokai means a lot because now the dragon spawning in 10 seconds. They're going to flash over and hit nobody with that. Oh, that was very interesting. They must have a miscommunication about
Oriana did
location.
flash out of it.
Okay. Quaz gets hit up by a little bit by the Vayne. She's level 14. The teleport in from Emil is going to come right now. He's going to get stunned up against the wall, but Vayne does melt it. The dragon goes over to the Naughty Boys, and now it's all of a sudden all in their court. Quaz is going to go down to the very end of this, and all of a sudden here comes Lulu. She's going to go down. Yorikun is right here. Can they pick up this Vayne right now? Zealous is bursting through him. Can they finish up one more piece of damage? Might be able to finish it. A nice protection, but a triple kill here from the MF. Only Oriana is alive. I doubt she can deal with all 4 of them because it was a 1 for 4.
Yeah, and the Ocean Soul coming in huge for the Naughty Boys in that final fight there after they secure the dragon. A couple members go pretty low, but they're able to go into the base with pretty high health.
Yeah.
Relatively.
And there's still about 10 seconds on a lot of them. They should be able to at least get an name hit, but basically run back to the Baron, be able to clean up that Baron, and then look to push for the win in about 32.5 minutes. That's what I'm betting on for the actual win itself. They should be able to pick this up by 30 minutes, if not less. So, see if they get pressured here, though.
We do see Glacial Vendetta coming after them. There is going to be a teleport.
they might get
so it
caught
looks like
right
there
here,
will
though.
be a compensation.
Ult from Yorick. Locks up one. Baron over to the side of Naughty Boys.
And no fight. Just patience.
Just
So-
patience. And you know what? Zelius this game is played out of his mind. He's got that teleport up. They could look for a 1-4 if they wanted. I don't think they need to. I think you can jam 5 into the bot lane or the top lane, whatever you want. You can look for your plays, and you can look to win. Zelius is played out of his mind. Julie's played out of his mind. The entire team of Naughty Boys have played really, really well. And honestly, the entire team of Glacial have played really, really well. But you come back to 100% win rate on the red side for this series, and I think that that trend is going to continue. Yes, Vayne
Yeah.
has Queen Sues, they have the Mercurial, they can get out of stuff, but it just doesn't matter when you have such big carries. Look at the way they allocated gold on the side of Naughty Boys. 8-2, 8-2, and 6 on both of their carries.
Yeah.
They did what they
I
needed to do.
I have to commend Camille's score shows that she's 1-6, but she has been playing this game well.
She's been playing it
from a macro
excellently.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. She has been pressuring the top side. It has discombobulated a lot of the approaches from Naughty Boys. They've had to send someone up there. They have to send a carry right now.
Yep.
It's completely, it
But she's got
disables
the
a lot of
TP.
the options that they
Like, this is the thing about Zealous. We saw Zealous alone in the bot lane 1v2 people, like in a nutty way. Like, that's really hard to do, especially when you start the fight at half health like you talked about. Now he's got the teleport. He can go to a fight late, and I think he can still clean up pretty safely. They're waiting for them to come in around the corner. Here comes a lot of people into this fight right now. That's a double engage onto Magnum Zong, and now they're looking for a huge fight. Zelly's able to pick up a couple people, and this is the teleport I was talking about. That's so much damage onto him. He's got a bunch of people onto him. A great use of the zone. He's begging for help. He's got the CC carries coming over to him, and now he's trying to shred through him. Vayne is still alive, though. She might be able to do more. She isn't able to as they pick up 2 kills on the backside. Vayne is the only one left alive, and they're going to CC her into oblivion as she goes down, and the series is going to go to Naughty Boys.
And Zelius just makes it happen. An incredible coordinated engage from Hecarim and Camille there. It's just not enough to salvage it. Zelius teleports in and is just able to do so much damage to the carries of Glacial Vendetta and close this game out.
A really, really wonderful series. One of my more favorite to cast. I really, really enjoyed watching it. Oh, No Name, thanks so much for casting with me. Guys, we are the LBLCS, and if you want to be part of our league, you want to participate in any way, you want to stream, you want to cast, you want to play, doesn't matter, scroll on down, click our link to join our Discord. Check out our YouTube. We save a lot of VODs there. We put them all up. Glacial's knocked out, but probably the most impressive performance we've seen against Naughty Boys the entire season. Really, really well done, Glacial. I commend you. It was an incredible series. Proud of you guys for being able to take at least a game off them and push them to really play well in the other 2 games. We're going to see Naughty Boys versus Dalps final. I'm pretty excited for that. Guys, we're going to see that on the Day of the Dead, November 1st. I think like 2 in the afternoon EST. We're going to figure out if that time works for both teams, and we're going to settle on a date. I'm Buggleberry Finn, and this is All No Name, and as All No Name always says,
We'll catch you next time.